Hi. I don't know what the fuck I'm getting myself into. I'm not really caught up on any of the art commentary lore and shit like that, I guess. Regarding, Chuli, A.V. Haltman, Caden Monroe, etc. But I've seen a lot of other people look into it, and, I've been kind of requested to look over the videos myself. So yeah, hi. I might talk a lot or stutter a lot, or I might be a little bit, fucking tweaky, because, look at this shit. I can't even fucking look at this. It's like oh shit, thanks for the $2. What the fuck? Anyways, hello. Yeah, hello. So before we go into the general ACC stuff, who's BI0B0T again? I have no fucking idea. I mean, I've seen their art on like TikTok or something. Apparently they're like problematic or some shit like that. But we have an 18-year-old content creator who apparently made an expose video on them. It's pretty short, so I figured I'd go over that before I go into the fucking hours-long shit. Let's see. 34 minutes, 25 minutes, an hour and 45 minutes, 3 hours, an hour and 15 minutes. Like, I'm trying to get caught up on, like, all of this shit because I'm genuinely fucking clueless. I don't know shit. I don't know shit at all. Oh, God. Anyways. I guess we'll start with the BI0B0T, or whatever the fuck, Psychojesus. Psychojesus, the rotten side of art talk. Art commentary, half rant, semi-outdated read bio. So, okay, what's the bio say? I've recently been informed that BI0B0T has seen my video and sent it to their Telegram. I would like to state I retract the chill with Nazis accusation since they have stated they have a rule against that stuff in their Telegram, and I apologize for such. I still stand by everything else. However, they did misinterpret the allegation I mentioned as me accusing them of pedophilia, and I would like to state I'm not... Hello? Hey, what's up, buddy? Okay. I'm kind of fucking scared. What do you want? Hello? Pewter. Anyways, blah, 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 blah. I simply stated the allegation I heard and said if that's true, then it's a weird thing to do, hoping this will lessen the confusion. And once again, BI0B0T, I'm not calling you a necrophile, but I'm stating that the content you make can easily make people mistake you as one due to the romanticization and humorization of the topics handled. Great. So I guess it's going to be one of those, this person makes problematic art. And it has problematic themes, so that's gonna be fucking fun to get into, I think. I think. Heavy on I think, because I don't think this is gonna be very fun. Anyways,
Fucking Christ. Here we go again.
Okay, no usernames are censored, do not witch hunt or harass. Simply report and move on. Great. Spoiler alert, it is? Okay. Great.
It seems like ever since Jimbo Jimmy 123 was called out for being problematic, more and more people have been trying to copy what made him so to an extreme degree. And I wouldn't be surprised if—
The Jimbo Jimmy shit was such a fucking mess. I don't really know what to fucking think about that. Deadstream, fuck off!
Who we were talking about.
Because there's no Birdie or Twisted Doctor in the title. Nobody cares unless it's some shit to do with those two.
Or other problematic people, such as the creator of Alfred's Playhouse. Remember that for later. Anyways, who am I talking about, you might ask? I'm talking about a TikTok artist and animator named BI0B0T, aka Psychojesus.
58,800 followers. Whoa.
First off, the username alone is a red flag, so I'm not surprised this person's weird. But weird for what exactly? Romanticizing necrophilia. Okay.
Okay.
Should probably...
Really quickly, though. Romanticization... I can't pronounce shit. Act of viewing something or someone in an idealized or overly positive light, often making it seem better or more attractive than it really is. Presenting something in a romantic or sentimental way to the point of ignoring or downplaying negative aspects. Wow. To think or describe something as being better or more attractive or interesting than it really is. Okay. Cool. Let's see.
Explain a lot more.
will say I do like their editing. I've watched their content before, but this one kind of just like caught my eye because some other YouTuber apparently made a video going over their video and the mistakes in it. I haven't even watched that. I didn't watch that. I'm just watching this. I'm going into this fucking raw, fresh and raw and right.
So they started posting weird videos on their TikTok of their OC in borderline, if not already suggestive situations with a dead corpse. This video specifically is...
So this is just an Alfred fucking... What is this? Alfred Alfred reference or some shit? Because this is the vibe I'm getting from it so far.
The most obvious one here in terms of being suggestive. One of the hashtags says femboy, there's a close-up shot of the character's crotch, and there's several suggestive connotations in the song used itself. Oh, right. The OC itself? Yeah, it sucks. I mean, its entire personality...
Oh, thank you for the $2. I love going in raw. I love raw.
...seems to be based around liking dead bodies and liking dead bodies.
I'm just gonna say it, okay? I don't know what this video is going to, like, you know, go into detail about regarding this person's problematic OC. I really don't care, realistically, and I know I'm gonna get fucking, like, stabbed and hung and fucking tortured and have my toenails, like, pried off by ArtCC people, but I don't really care about problematic characters. If you want to make your character a fucking necrophile, I don't care. A lot of people have edgy OCs. That's just how teens in this community work. You can't really be surprised by it. And it kind of like, I'm not saying that this situation is the same as the Dolly Guts or Tears situation, but if it ends up being like that, I'm gonna crash the fuck out. They were like, they were trying abuse and self-harm in their artwork, and that was romanticizing it. I've had a cannibal OC myself. I can't say I've had a fucking necrophile OC, but who cares, dude? They just say it's ass and poorly written because it isn't fleshed out. Who gives a fuck? Problematic characters are fun. They're fucking fun. There's nothing necessarily wrong with them. Obviously, most people know fucking dead bodies is wrong. Guys, don't make a necrophile character. That's bad. Like,
literally necro, too. Along with that, their entire account is themed around stuff like meat and religion, specifically Christianity, and it's like...
So basically the most edgy shit that you'd find on TikTok normally.
Not because they're a Christian, but because of why they even made their OC a necrophile in the first place. Because it would be edgy to do so.
You are correct.
Yeah, it's a little bit obvious, but this is one of those cases of an artist trying way too hard to make a problematic edgy OC who does dark, messed up stuff.
My question is if you know that, and you know that they're just doing edgy shit and having problematic characters and shit like that, who cares? Genuinely. And I'm not trying to be mean to this person. Like I said, I like their content normally. It's just like... Did we need a video about this? Obviously, like, I don't know yet. I gotta let it cook.
Except
we're only 2 minutes in, but I'm already like, ugh.
OC. This is just shitty writing. Because, yes, you can...
This isn't just a problematic OC. This is shitty writing.
And make problematic OCs. I mean, I literally have a group of OCs that kill and eat people. But...
So cannibals? Okay.
But there's a difference between a problematic OC and a dog shit one. Because
okay, so I you know what, whatever.
When it
I'm gonna
comes
let it
to
cook.
writing OCs that are terrible
cook.
people and writing OCs who do terrible things, you have to put at least a little bit of depth into their character. You
don't have to have depth in a character. I could make a necrophile character right now. Also, it's not a child. This is an 18-year-old. I checked because I don't really want to talk about kids anymore, especially since the fucking Cupidity Yumi shit went fucking haywire, so... Don't want to deal with children in the art CC anymore. But this is fucking silly, okay? You can have a problematic character with no lore, no fucking story. I could draw a character with like flesh and bones and blood as the whole aesthetic and be like, yeah, they fuck bodies and like eat people. And then make a bunch of animation memes and like center my fucking like profile around that character. Who cares? It's really not that fucking deep. You don't have to have like this fully fleshed out story just to have a problematic character. That's not how it works. That's not how fiction works. That's not how anything works. Just because you think this doesn't mean that it's necessarily true.
Can't just make it.
You can make fucked up characters. It's not a crime. I don't really know why this is being called out so far, but
go, this is my OC, Pedo-chan, and she diddles kids! And expect people to treat your OC like it's a sequel to Mouthwashing or BoJack.
Except this isn't a pedophile OC, this is a necrophile OC, which, like, obviously, both are bad. No shit about that, but, like, come on. You literally acknowledge that this is just edgy OCs for the sake of being edgy.
If you want your OC to be seen in a positive light.
And it's also like a fucking, it looks like it's an Alfred Alfer, or whatever the fuck reference. Alfred's Playhouse, whatever.
If you want your OC to be problematic and not cringe or dog shit, here's a small bit of advice. Treat the dark subjects seriously. You can still have a cutesy aesthetic or tone or whatever, but that doesn't mean you should portray the literal crimes committed as, oh my god, this is so silly, so cute, so hot. Because
okay, I do like that. I'm gonna go back. I want to watch that again.
This is so
look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
So
look at it.
Because
that's Ace, by the way. That's Ace.
Yeah, sure. It may be fictional, but all fiction is based on reality.
Okay, just because it's a fictional character, though, that doesn't mean that, oh my fucking god, anybody with a brain is gonna see this art and they're not gonna be like, I should go fuck dead bodies because fucking Psychojesus on TikTok.com has a necrophile character. Like, who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? I don't get it. 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 I don't get it.
And no matter how unrealistic it is, it will always have some aspect from the real world. And portraying things like
Thank you for the 199. Those who snowcoat. Thanks. Those who know. Those who know.
As
big
some
shit happening. Okay.
Thing not to
All
take
fiction is based on reality. Dragons are real now, guys. You heard it here first.
Seriously.
I mean, it was. Oh my god, are we talking about that one TikToker with the Necro OC? I love that guy. Yeah, we're talking about that person, but we're talking about a person covering that person, being all like, if you're gonna have a problematic character, it has to be fleshed out, and you can't just have an edgy problematic character. If you want one that's not gonna be dog shit, you need to take the problematic stuff seriously and not treat it like a joke. Like, bro,
isn't going.
At the end of the day, and this goes with like all dark subjects, all dark characters and shit like that, it's really not that fucking deep, and I don't know why people care. Y'all can call me an asshole, but I'm forming my own fucking opinion. I'm gonna speak my mind as somebody who has a real life, real job, owns a fucking apartment, has 2 animals, and, you know, has friends and shit. Sorry, I'm not saying that you don't have fucking friends, but it's just like, who the fuck cares, bro? Who cares? This one fucks dead bodies. I don't give a shit. Nobody cares.
Going to make people think, wow, what a fictional story that's totally not based on the creator's real ideals and interests. No.
Nobody's gonna think that you want to fuck. Okay, whatever.
Oh, it's gonna make people think that the artist either doesn't take that stuff seriously at all, or that they likely have some sort of fetish for it. I mean, why else do all the
No fucking way you're bringing up Dan Schneider. In regards to an edgy TikTok character, don't.
Dan Schneider's shows always have feet involved at some point. Because it's his damn fetish. Now, I'm...
Okay, well, okay. I love how the description says, I'm not calling you a necro, but I'm stating that the content you make can easily make people mistake you as one due to the romanticization and humorization of the topics handled. No!
Not accusing BI0B0T of being into...
Dan is winning. Dude, shut up, bro.
Necrophilia. But the way they portray this sort of stuff can very easily make it look like they are. And
you know what? Let me look at this person's fucking TikTok in general. BI0B0T Psychojesus, okay? Hold up. It's on TikTok. I don't want to do that. Fucking hell. I don't want to go on TikTok, okay? Fuck! Okay. Okay, let me pull up TikTok. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, shit. Okay. Sorry. Shut up, Toxic. Nobody cares.
Because you're fat.
Shut up. Shut up.
Well,
Psychojesus. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Okay. Okay. Wow. So is this the stuff that's supposed to make us think that they're a genuine fucking necrophile or something? Okay, no. No. It's just edgy shit. This doesn't... Yeah, I think you're a necrophile because you animated this. What? Wow. Amazing. Amazing. It's a fucking character. It's a fucking... Okay, whatever. Whatever. I don't care. I don't fucking care. None of that makes me think this person wants to fuck dead bodies. I think, oh, they have an edgy fucking character. That's it.
Really, really bad for your digital footprint. Because...
How is it bad?
Trust me, job places can find that shit. And...
Dude, imagine like you try to get hired at fucking Pizza Hut and they do like a full background check and they're like, did you have the account called Psychojesus? You had a necrophile OC. Jobs don't care. Jobs don't care. Also, how are they gonna find this shit with the fucking username Psychojesus unless you have your real name attached to it? I don't get it. I don't think you know how it works.
You can't really excuse it with, just scroll if you don't like it in a job interview.
Nobody's gonna fucking break this up.
So, surely that's just it, right? They made an overly edgy OC and they romanticized necrophilia via animation.
That's not...
And that's all, right?
How is that? How is that? How is this romanticized? It just looks like edgy shit for sake of being edgy. Are you telling me this person is doing this and is like, guys, you should go fuck a dead body. It's like super romantic and cool. I think this should be normalized. No. Oh, ew. Okay. Okay, we're not doing that. I don't get it. I don't get it.
No.
Also, I'm not mad. I'm just very hyper. I feel like I'm gonna start fucking shaking.
Oh, no. That's not really all there is. Because there's...
Also, can you actually show us where they're romanticizing this shit? Because so far you haven't even given any proof to your claims. You're just going, yeah, this person, they romanticize this. Show me examples, okay? And explain how they're normalizing and fucking romanticizing it or whatever.
So, along with the weird necrophile shit, they allowed a friend to draw NSFW of Necro.
Okay, how old are they? How... fucking hell, I'm gonna have to go back to this. God damn it. Okay, come here, BioBot. Come here. Come here. Open anyways, come on. How fucking old are they? How old is this person? I'm so fucking lost. Hello? I'm so fucking confused. I don't know how old this person is. Oh well.
For the NSFW to be of, and I quote, him fucking a corpse. And, you know, apparently people were spreading misinfo about it being his drawing, yada yada. Obviously spreading lies on the internet is bad, you shouldn't do it. But like, literally what did you expect them to do?
BioBot is a minor of unspecified age. Okay. So an edgy teenager. Also, yeah, obviously, they let their friend draw not safe for work. Guys, this is awful. People are spreading disinformation. Don't you mean misinformation? Saying I drew not safe for work of Necro where he's fucking a corpse, but I didn't do that. It was drawn by another person. I gave him permission, but I didn't know there would be a dead body there. This isn't necessarily...
of, and I quote...
How's this bad, other than, yeah, maybe don't draw porn of a minor's OC. They didn't
him fucking a corpse.
Whatever.
And, you know, apparently people were spreading misinfo about it being his drawing, yada yada. Obviously spreading lies on the internet is bad, you shouldn't do it. But, like, literally what did you expect them to draw your OC doing? I mean, you made...
Why is this even in the fucking video,
your
genuinely?
OC's entire personality being a necrophile. You almost always draw them alongside a dead, skinless corpse. You animated suggestive situations between the two. You literally named them
Also about kids drawing suggestive shit, you probably shouldn't be fucking doing that. It puts yourself in danger. It puts yourself in a situation that you probably shouldn't fucking be in. You're gonna attract weirdos. You're gonna attract pedophiles. All these weird fucked up people, right? Don't do it. Computer, leave the fucking knife alone. But yeah, obviously kids shouldn't be posting sexual or suggestive shit on the internet. No fucking duh. I don't think that has to be said necessarily.
Bro. And you're telling me you didn't expect them to draw necrophilia porn of your character? You didn't think it'd involve a corpse? Yeah, you didn't think they'd draw your necrophile OC
Genuinely though, why are you so
being a
upset?
necrophile, despite the fact that it's their only goddamn personality trait? People literally drew Jimmy from mouthwashing characters because the
okay, wait. Hold on. Let me turn this up, okay? You guys need to hear this.
people literally drew Jimmy from mouthwashing characters because the fandom dumbed him down to just being a and not a literal villain. And that wasn't even the game dev's fault.
Also, it wasn't the fucking fandom, it's just the freaks who like drawing that shit. You can't say that the entire fucking fandom watered him down.
But you made your OC's entire personality necrophilia and dumbed their character down to what they do. And you didn't expect someone would draw your OC doing
This person doesn't sound old enough to understand media literacy. Let's just saying they're 18.
said things
They're
despite
18.
that being the only thing your OC is known for. But yeah, sure, whatever. You weren't the one who drew the art, and people falsely accuse you of doing so. Again, lying online is—
Yeah, honestly, engineer, I don't understand the argument. They're just like, you gave permission for somebody else to draw porn of your character. You're a minor, by the way. And they drew necrophilia that you didn't know would end up being, you know, you didn't know that there would be necrophilia elements in the fucking not safe for work drawing. Why? Why didn't you know? You should fucking know. Your OC's a necrophile. Your OC's a necrophile. Like, bro, come on. Is this supposed to be against them, or would you rather, honestly, I'd rather you criticize the person who drew the necrophilia rather than being mad at the person for not knowing that. Whatever, I don't care.
bad, yada yada. But like,
I don't fucking
this
care.
isn't the only weird shit BI0B0T has done. They
didn't draw that, though. What are you talking about?
posted a lot of,
They posted, okay, glitter blood, whatever that is. Specimen jar, Russian, room reveal.
strange videos.
Okay, the person who made the video elixir is 18. This person, they're 18.
Most of them was in Russian, so I could not, you know, get a viable translation of what they might say, but they looked strange, so that's all I've got for those. But one of them was an Alfred's Playhouse clip. I guess I was right about them being an Alfred's Playhouse fan.
Well, duh, if you go to their TikTok, they literally have the fucking, what is it, the opening where it's like, I'm not gonna fucking hum that, that's cringe.
Either way,
whatever, there's a
being
bunch
an
of
active
references on
fan
their
of a
profile.
series made by someone who was a white supremacist is weird. And
I will say I don't fuck with Alfred's Playhouse, but I do understand why a lot of kids like it. Edgy teenagers will be attracted to edgy things. Obviously, I don't fuck with Alfred, but a lot of people like Alfred because, oh my god, it's edgy, and oh my god, it has trauma aspects that I relate to. I don't fuck with it once again, but I do understand why a lot of other people do, even though I think you probably shouldn't be engaging with that, especially if you're a fucking kid, because not only will other people look at you and think you're a fucking freak, but the fucking elements in general regarding Alfred's Playhouse don't need to be touched by kids.
not good.
It's rather concerning.
But it technically—
And I've also seen a lot of, like, not seasoned adults use Alfred's Playhouse to groom children into their agenda, which it sounds fucking weird, but trust me, I've seen it. It is a thing.
Also
It happens.
Stop there, because of course it doesn't stop there. It never stops. It never fucking ends. You ever heard of Telegram?
Oh, great.
Okay, before anyone says anything, I admit it is an app people from Russia use a lot, and BI0B0T is Russian, hence the Russian reposts. But basically, they have a Telegram group or chat, whatever, probably the Russian equivalent of a Discord server, which wouldn't be a problem, right? Surely they don't allow weird stuff in there, right?
Telegram is known for, like, weird shit. But I digress.
They allow people to post Nazi art and racist shit.
Okay. People are posting Nazi art and racist shit. By the way, they're literally letting their fans post Adolf Hitler in their Telegram and letting people be racist.
In the group.
Obviously, disavow. That's bad.
I'm not even kidding either.
It's kind of concerning because I wonder, like, who's influencing them.
It's bad.
Because most of the time, when it comes to teenagers engaging in shit like this, remember when I was talking about how fucking Nazis and weird fucking people will use content like Alfred's Playhouse to fucking groom kids into being into shit like this? Look, that's what I'm fucking talking about, dude. Like, I'm wondering who's influencing this kid into engaging with this shit, genuinely.
And although I don't speak Russian and I can't translate what they're saying in this image, it's a bit obvious they're not saying nice things considering.
Okay, there's a translation in the replies. Let me look. Touch grass where on top of the photo of a mental hospital next to it. I'm surprised homophobes think they have a right to say something about the Bible and people's sexual orientations. The Bible never said anything about kids hating people because of their sexual. Okay. Telegram chat, reply to someone, swastin, silly way of swastika. I got homesick, and after it, swastika art was poster, reply to it, smell of the homeland. Okay. Cool.
The image sent. So yeah, BI0B0T is perfectly fine with racist shit, but someone drawing necrophilia art of their necrophile OC, whom you constantly romanticized and sexualized the actions of, the necrophile OC, whose only defining trait was necrophilia and being suggestive about it? Boo! Bad!
Why are we talking about this? You can... whatever.
Bad, not good! Boo!
It says that they're 18 and they're like bio. Hold on, let me look again. I had to go to like their card. Hold on, proceed, about me. 18 years old, yeah.
Ooh. Like, come on, man. If you're going to view one thing as bad, you better see the other awful shit as bad too. You can't just make an OC that romanticizes necrophilia and expect the people who want to draw fan art of it to draw your OC doing...
I feel like they're more concerned about the fucking necrophilia porn that somebody else drew rather than the racist shit and like the swastika shit going down in the server, because they keep going on and on and on and on and on about it. It's just like, okay.
Normal things.
What are we more concerned about? Like, come on.
And that's not even mentioning...
Okay. The fan base. Don't tell me you're gonna bitch at this person for having a weird fucking fan base. Come on.
If I had a quarter...
Why is this so dramatic? When it comes to Russians doing edgy shit, 9 times out of 10 it's because they're being groomed. I dated a Russian for a year and they confirmed to me grooming and pedophilia is a problem over there. Yeah, think about Tofux, bro. There's a reason why I won't make a video about Tofux. That fucker gets groomed, like, or has been groomed, like, multiple times. They've engaged in, like, Nazi propaganda due to the grooming and other things that have happened. And yeah, this is gonna sound a bit mean, but yeah, I have noticed that a bunch of Russians do tend to, not all of them, but I've noticed that Russians in the animation meme community and the art sphere, a lot of the young ones, the edgy teenagers, end up going down a fucking, how do I even say this? They fall down a weird pipeline. It's very, very odd. Very odd.
Single time the art community did not learn from Birdie, I would have
Birdie mention
$1.
I think you have more than $1. Dude.
Because, oh my god, their fan base is an echo chamber. And
also, I don't think this person is comparable to Birdie in the slightest. I don't really like the comparison, bro.
BI0B0T is in the center of it all, absorbing every single scream of idiot joy. In their TikTok, you will find more comments.
Y'all trying so hard to hate. Are we deadass? Why are people hating? Unpopular opinion. I love your OC.
Complaining about the fact they're being hated on than actual comments hating on them. And when you do find comments hating on them, the replies will be flooded beyond the brim of people
who cares? What is this?
ruthlessly defending them using all the same excuses.
Okay, please. Shh, 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 shh.
These slasher films do this on the...
It's still wrong. I like murder. That's in horror movies. It's fiction. It's literally horror, and the creator can't control who sees their content. Exactly!
Hey, just scroll! It's all the...
Dude, there's necrophile fucking... Oh, my God. Yeah, that's a rant video. They say that it's a half rant or whatever.
Same responses, all the same, just recycled over and over and over again. There's never a real solid defense as to why it shouldn't be hated on, as to why it's perfectly fine. Nope!
But there was...
It's just edgy shit for the sake of being edgy. I don't think they genuinely endorse or promote or encourage necrophilia. In fact, I think you literally said they had a problem with somebody else drawing like actual fucking necrophilic porn of their character, which like, number one, they're a minor. That's fucking weird. Number two, I think them having an issue with that would insinuate that they have an issue with people like genuinely taking this shit. Oh my God. Bro. Does anybody get what I'm trying to fucking say? They have an issue with somebody, like, taking that shit seriously and making actual necrophilic content aside from, like, the edgy shit they already do. Like, actual necrophilic porn. They're uncomfortable with that. Whoa.
There's one reply I saw that pissed me off the most. And it literally said,
If you don't like this video, then why did you look it up?
brother, do you not know how the TikTok For You page works? You don't just search up every single specific video you see. It appears on there. You can barely control whether or not you're a scroll away from getting flashbanged by hashtag femboy.
What? Okay. What?
Do you see? It appears on there. You can barely control whether or not you're a scroll away from getting flashbanged by hashtag femboy. But honestly, the echo chamber doesn't just end there. Remember the post where they said that they were falsely accused of drawing necrophile porn? That was on DeviantArt. And yes, BI0B0T has a DeviantArt. And
okay.
You know what you'll find in their comments of every single post, profile included? More echo chamber. In fact, I only bothered to get one example because...
Hey, don't listen to what anyone says. I heavily encourage you to continue doing what you love. People are being more sensitive, and that freedom is... creative freedom is more than just, hey, liberals, look at my Sparkle Dog OC, even though I have no clue that the old internet isn't as progressive as what TikTok thought. You don't deserve to be silenced, and I'm proud of you for taking big risks in the way... blah, 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 blah. Your art is unique, your character is memorable, and I love the colors, and overall, I wish you the best. If you quit one day, great things are happening to you soon. Whoa.
All the other comments were so
Hi, YOLO.
similar, they just blended together. And the only reason I see this as unique is because of how fucking stupid it sounds. They literally called TikTok an SJW cesspit.
I mean, listen. It kind of is. It kind of is. And Twitter.
This
Just
fucker
saying.
still uses the word SJW in the big 2025. It is not 2016 anymore. Spocter and Leafy's here are not in their prime. They are long gone. Tumblr versus 4chan is long gone. Cringe compilations are cringe now. Times have changed. The future is now.
The video maker is 18 years old, Yen.
Old man, think, DeviantArt user, think!
They're like screaming, bro.
And the funniest part of this is that unlike Jimbo, BI0B0T wanted
SJW means social justice warrior.
this echo chamber to happen. They fucking wanted to be worshipped though. And the funniest part of this is that unlike Jimbo, BI0B0T wanted this echo chamber to happen. They fucking wanted to be worshipped like this. Because before they took a break from TikTok, they made a post. And their main reasoning as to why they posted the weird shit they did was because they were trying...
My TikTok was originally just an experiment to see how fast I'd get canceled, but I got so attached to you guys, I just can't leave everything behind like that. I don't even know why. Okay, so this person started something to make problematic shit for the sake of being problematic and to get people like you to react to it. You got fucking rage baited, and then they got a genuine audience from it, and they realized, hey, I like animating with this character. Hey, I like the attention I'm getting. Hey, I like the whole fan base shit. Is that bad? Is that bad? Is it really that bad? They didn't expect to have an audience. Now they have one. And now they're like, oh, well, I'm kind of attached. I want to keep doing this. This is cool. How is the... Bro. They wanted this. They wanted this. To see how fast I'd get canceled. That doesn't seem like they wanted this.
To get canceled as fast as possible.
But they also followed that up with, but I got too attached to my fan base.
They have 58,000 followers. I think I'd get attached too. You suddenly have a platform. Whoa! Scary shit, right?
Shows they like
Goku, do you think they're 18 for real? They are.
getting this sort of overwhelmingly positive borderline cult of a fan base and completely ditched the idea of doing the experiment because they love the attention and now they've trapped themselves in an echo chamber willingly.
They love the attention, and you are giving them the attention that they want. Dude. Come on. This guy is rage baiting, and, they're doing problematic stuff, so now, they talked about how they wanted attention, and, I'm gonna make a rant video because, they're being problematic, and, but, like, dude, stop. What are you doing? You acknowledge that it, whatever,
Not only that,
I don't care.
they end the post with, and I quote, I feel like crap. And on top of that, I've got haters whispering crap in my ear.
Maybe it's because there's a bunch of people hating on them and trying to insinuate that they're an actual necrophile who doesn't deserve a platform and should be killed. That's just my guess, okay? Because usually the communities are like that. They're like, so you have a fucking necrophile, OC? Oh my god, you're probably a pedophile and a legitimate necrophile. That's like really problematic. You do not need a platform. I'm making an awareness video. Like, come on. And the fact that this person is apparently a minor, of course they're gonna be. I don't care. But whatever.
Anyways,
whatever,
it's all
whatever,
good.
Whatever.
Expect
Whatever.
new art/animation soon. I'm not going anywhere, guys.
That's it? That's the fucking video? Bro.
So that's the drama.
It's not even drama. It's just you falling for rage bait. The only thing I would criticize is like the fucking shit in the Telegram server or whatever. But even then, I think that's more of like a cause for concern regarding who this person is affiliating themselves with. Like, are there adults encouraging this behavior regarding like the Nazism and shit like that? Also, have they directly engaged with it, like supporting it and shit like that?
Already explained a lot, and I don't really have much
Maybe I
else
didn't
to
read the
say.
screenshot,
BI0B0T
right? But
is
like,
a weird person, and they're obviously not a good.
Also, yeah, Spark, I usually like their videos, but this one just really isn't it. Oh, you don't like them. Okay, never mind.
Either.
I have a necrophile OC.
So, editing Milkway here. Another thing I just got told was that BI0B0T also told a minor that they looked cute, despite the fact that BI0B0T is apparently like way older than them. And
How old? I don't know this motherfucker's age.
And I think that's really fucking weird. Okay.
Also, why add this in here if you don't have any proof? You cannot just make a fucking accusation like this and then not fucking back it up. What are you on about? You cannot do that, bro.
Now on to the outro.
Exactly. Be like, I was told by this person that they did that, and this makes them weird and potentially a groomer, but blah 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 blah. Like, bro. Oh my god, dude. Don't make accusations without evidence or shit to back it up, please. Go check DMs. What do you want?
Now,
What do you want? Oh my god, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? You sent me like, what the fuck is that? Whoa. What the fuck? Why do I look like that one bitch? Hold on. Jew on the grudge. What? Whatever. Come on. I look like this fucker. Where is she? Hold on. But there's this one fucking, like, picture that I'm looking for in specific, okay? Maybe I'll find it. All right? Come on. Where are you? Where the fuck are you? Where are you? Oh. I can't find it, but you get the fucking gist, basically. Fuck me. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. Enough of that. But yeah, no, basically this video pissed me off. Don't make accusations that you can't back up, and also maybe think a little bit deeper as to whether or not something's that fucking serious, okay? I'm just saying. Because I don't think this video needed to be made. And I mean that respectfully and nicely. This is kind of just...
Going to say this loud and clear. If anyone, and I mean anyone...
This has 50,000 views, mind you. 50,000 fucking views. 50,000 fucking views! And they put out an allegation that they didn't have proof about.
BI0B0T included, tries to harass, threaten, or send shock imagery to me through Discord. I won't be afraid of making a call-out post, and I won't censor your username, because actions have consequences.
Do you know how old they are? I don't know how old they are, but if they are actually a minor, maybe don't do that.
It's on the internet, stays there forever. Good night.
Okay, what happens on the internet stays there forever. Your 50,000 viewed video spreading shit that it probably shouldn't be fucking spreading, talking about how they called a minor cute and they're like way older than them, but I don't have evidence. And also they have a problematic edgy necrophile OC, and I think that means that they are supporting, romanticizing, and humoring it, which is really bad. Think logically rather than just acting off of morals and emotions, being like, you can't do that, necrophiles are bad, don't you know that necrophilia illegal? Like, come on. If they were actually like glamorizing or glorifying necrophilia and being all like, guys, necrophilia is actually so cool and based, you should all fuck dead bodies, that would be different, bro. But this isn't that. That's just an edgy fucking like art TikTok fucking OC. Like, I don't get it. I'm gonna fucking my god.
Your OC to be...
Okay. Anyways. Fuck. Alright. You can also use both morals and logic are not exclusive. Yeah, that is true. But like, I feel like people need to think differently. I also feel like people go, well, this is morally bad, so it means that this and that is true. No, that's where logic kicks in. So the creators of Hannibal are necrophiles, I guess? I guess so. Wait, no, according to this person, no, because they had a fleshed out story, and this person just has an edgy OC, which is a shit OC because it doesn't have enough lore or fleshed out background. GoatCatto, are you freakier than my uncle Ria? I don't know who that is. And I don't know what you're talking about. I feel like people need to stop having fights with literal children and stop making these videos essentially making money off of drama and children fighting. I don't know. Anyways, yes, okay. We're getting into the art CC lore and stuff like that. Was Goat defending Biofoot or against them? I'm more neutral. I'm honestly neutral. I don't think I have enough information about BI0B0T or whatever their name is, Psychojesus, to actually say I'm against them. There is a little bit of criticizable shit like the Telegram shit, but that's more concerning rather than, hey, this is bad, like, you know? But genuinely, like, that video didn't give me a reason to think they're horrible. Anyways, so this is gonna take a long fucking time. I'm glad I drank an energy drink. We're catching up on the Chuli stuff, I guess. I haven't really looked into it other than stuff that I've been told by Lio, by Ace, and other people, yada, 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 right? Fucking hell. So we've got, the Fego stuff, which I was told I need to look over. A bunch of stuff I need to look over in order to get the context regarding Heaton and Caden Monroe and all that stuff. I'll probably be looking at Rin's video in a next stream or something like that, and I'll probably be looking at Avi Avi, Haltman, or whatever, in that other stream as well. So, okay, truly lore. Whoa. All right,
This is really awkward. I want to preface by saying that I know this feels like a very weird and out of place video for me of all people to be making, and this is definitely not at all how I wanted to be returning to the platform, and it would honestly be a lot easier if I just quietly moved on. However, after consulting some friends and having time to finally breathe and reflect, I feel like if I didn't come forward with what I know I'd be doing.
This is like 3 years old, but like I said, oh my god, it's actually like 4 years old. What the fuck? But apparently it's important for the context leading up to the main shit. So yeah,
especially with how they have continued on with their behavior.
Basically, what I remember about the Fego stuff is like they lied about assaulting somebody or something as a form of self-harm or some shit like that. I love Chuli, but you're gonna go crazy having to watch and hear all of us. I hope so.
Behavior both privately and publicly for nearly 3 years in my experience. I also need to give a big trigger warning, as this video is going to be touching on the topics of general mental health struggles, sexual assault, suicide, and CP. I understand if that's probably very alarming, and if it's something that you don't feel that you can handle right now or at all, please don't feel pressured to stay. So today's video, as the title says, is about a person who goes by Feghost, who has been on this platform under that name since
I remember seeing this person in like fucking, I think 2017, 2018, and I think I used to watch their content actually. I don't remember anything about them other than the fucking like display though.
16.
Or the display, hello, I have autism. The fucking profile picture, like the little ghost character, but I never really looked fully into them.
Them from their own videos or appearing around our mutuals online. But in case you don't know, Feghost is a content
They were friends with Digby and Spoctor. Of course, Spoctor
creator
of all
who's
people.
been around for a while and established an online presence as well as a lot of connections, which quite frankly is extremely worrying to me. If you're able, I ask that you please bear through everything I'm going to get into, as you'll see this very quickly outgrows the scope of someone just being a bad friend. Obviously, in addition to my own testimony, I'm going to be showing whatever evidence I can of what I'm talking about. Obviously, since some of this stuff happened in VCs, I cannot show literally everything that's happened, but I will be showing all the evidence that I have. I know some people aren't always looking at the videos they have on, so I'm going to be playing this sound effect whenever I put something on screen. So with that, I'm just going to get into everything, basically. I want to preface by saying that I know that Feghost is a person who needs
because
serious
this doesn't
help,
have music and I need music.
but professional mental help. And I understand the possible problematic implications of warning people to stay away from someone very clearly suffering from mental health issues, because I agree in terms of principle that someone suffering from mental illness is not something to be ashamed of or a reason to shun. I would never cut off a friend because of that, and I wouldn't have a lot of the friends that I do now if that were the case. However, I've had to learn that letting someone use their mental illness to hurt others and or guilt forgiveness is wrong, especially when the person shows no willingness to change for the better. And one of the long-standing issues that's been causing so many problems is not only their absolute refusal to seek out professional help, but their
Do you have a therapist you can contact? No. Maybe you can see if you can find one or talk to your family.
extreme
So is this somebody who just refuses to do anything about their issues and continues to like sulk and drown in their own misery, dragging other people in with them and then playing victim and being like, why does everybody hate me? Or am I like guessing wrong?
willingness to put in any of the work that they can without therapy or the help of a psychiatrist. Some of my friends have expressed a worry about how they'll react to me coming forward because they have a tendency to react to things very destructively. I'll be honest, I have my own worries about that too, but
Oh my god, I guessed right. That's amazing. I love
personally,
that. People are fucking predictable, dude. Apparently Heaton's like that too, from what I know.
I'm done.
Especially after Chuli came out with her video about Heaton, and Heaton was like, everybody's fucking leaving me. You guys know nothing. Like, shut up, bitch. Which, by the way, when we get into the Heaton segment, I'm gonna talk about my fucking experience with that with that bitch when I was like 18.
Catering to this man instead of
And
the
then she
people that
fucking brought up our drama like 2 years after it happened. For what fucking reason? I don't know.
I've been doing that for almost 3 years now, and in that time I've grown up a lot, especially this year, and this is me making the decision to finally say enough. I wanted to get this out a lot sooner than I am, but if I'm just being 100%, writing this script and having to relive everything in such detail has been one of the most difficult things I've done recently. I want to start off by talking about how things were before they got really bad, to show that it already wasn't great, and also to show some patterns that we'll see continue on so you can know how long some of this stuff has lasted. Firstly, one of the biggest issues I've come to realize is that Faghost has an extremely hard time respecting the boundaries that other people place. Problems really started to arise in early—
I feel like this is an issue with most people involved with art commentary, or at least the degenerate part of it. Like, people, including minors, will state a fucking boundary, and like the adults and just people in general will fucking walk all over it and then be surprised when the person fucking lashes out at them for it. Like, it's so fucking annoying.
2019. Allow me to preface this by saying that Faghost, at the time and until very recently, was friends with me and my friend Kylie, otherwise known as Clown Teeth, and who previously was known as Icy Hazard. And a lot of stories I'm going to tell revolve around our experiences with Faghost and how they have treated us. So, early 2019, Kylie was dealing with a very traumatic, long-lasting, and difficult to manage situation regarding romantic relationships. I'm not going to get into specifics of what she was dealing with because that's her story to tell, but Kylie asked me and Faghost to help with the situation and reaching a resolution with some of the people involved in her situation. However, over the course of planning things and making the necessary connections, Faghost had several moments that made us think he was not a good candidate for being a mediator in anything. The straw that broke the camel's back was when Faghost would not let up on an argument with me in a group chat regarding whether or not it was okay to spread rumors about someone being into incest of child characters in meme form. I was of the opinion that it wasn't, and they thought it was perfectly fine and harmless. After arguing an obnoxiously long time and not getting anywhere, I cut the argument off for the day and the group chat was deleted, but Faghost decided to start things back up and again in—
Does it negate the fact that Blank already recognized the disclaimers weren't doing much? It was a big enough deal for Blank to want to confront her. It wasn't that damaging to the point where she needed to delete things, except that it was spreading a rumor and people believed her. It's just irresponsible to instantly meme things like Blank does. And on that note, Blank took action on his own behalf, and from what I've seen, has only been bothered by the fact that his ex was involved. What? Okay.
My DMs the next morning, and when the same thing was happening, I told them to stop or I was going to block them. They didn't, and so I did. So Faghost went to Kylie and ejected themselves from helping her simply because I reinforced the boundary that I set pretty clear, and then tried to spin it in a way that made it sound like
I guess I'm out of the conversation. Great, y'all need to chill for fuck's sake. I'm done with this shit. I'm down to chill. It's just that it's an argument instead of a conversation. I'd be fine if Dulu didn't get all in your face about it and block me if she's right, but it's an argument based on morals and that they're subjective. Plus, there's a bunch of unknowns in the situation.
When you
Veg, I said I was done. Stop. I was trying to use that as an example, as there's worse things that people can be accused of. Liking incest of cartoon characters isn't that big of a deal when you look at the ocean of accusations out there, and even then, when it's mentioned in jest, the vast majority of people will pick up on that. It's a horrible defense. There are worse things out there, and even though some will believe it, most won't.
See, I was very calm when challenging ideas as awful as the reckless libel is okay because there's worse accusations that could have been made. And I wasn't even the one who started up the debate again, but fine. After having to be told by Kylie to drop it because I guess me reinforcing my boundaries twice wasn't enough, they decided that they wanted—
It's pretty fucking easy to just like drop something if somebody says they don't want to talk about that or they don't want to argue further about something. I don't understand how you can be so fucking stupid that you whine about it and try to fucking pick it back up when the person has told you like at least twice, hey, I don't want to engage. Hey, I don't want to talk about it.
Wanted back in, but Kylie decided that they were complicating things too much with their rash decision making and wanted to cut off their involvement, which Faghost continued to push even after, which understandably frustrated Kylie. This wasn't even the first time that Faghost had specifically pushed a boundary regarding being asked not to get involved with a situation. There was another situation in March of the same year involving a lot of Kylie's friends that needed to be handled quickly because it was getting out of hand and a bunch of people were getting involved, not even knowing what was happening, and people were threatening to take very minute—
So, some cheeky little shit has been pulling exactly what Blank pulled, but this time on a friend of mine. They claim they hate drama, yet cause drama, claim they're not spiteful, but goes out of their way to shit talk about that friend to other friends, twist context about a friend to try and look morally superior, uses excuses as to why they're mean and shitty, uses goons to harass friend. Friend cannot publicly vent about the goons attacking them because they assume any vent is about said shit. Acts like a victim whenever friends' followers call the shit out. The shit and the goons have the audacity to hold past mistakes that have been resolved over the friend's head. After seeing all that go down, all I gotta say is that's it. I'm getting me a mallet. Okay.
Squabbles public, and she asked me to be there just while she—
Hey boy, Icy wants to pull you into a call. I'll be a moderator there. I'm not really in a stable mindset right now. Maybe in a few minutes. Give yourself a few minutes to get into one because she wants to talk about things right now, and I think it'd be the best if it was handled right now. I know, Dulu, just give me a bit.
Tried to contain the situation, and I don't know what it is with this hero complex stuff, but Faghost decided this situation that had nothing to do with them was actually all about them, and really just showed that nobody cared about them because they weren't invited to help contain—
Why does he want to be the fucking— oh my god. Why does he want to be involved so bad? Who cares? Seriously, in the middle of a drama storm trying to clear misinformation and so many things, and I can't be involved at all? If you want me to get you into this call, I can, but this part right now is hard. I think it's beyond that point now. Beyond? I spent this entire night doing nothing and now I'm tired. I'm pretty sure it's not worth it to get me in because what does it matter now if I'm just gonna be clueless for the rest of the call?
In the situation and
He
looking
wants to be the fucking main character so bad. God. Jesus. I was having an experience right there just being completely alone and it was just a text and I couldn't read anything on my monitor. Fun. I really wanted someone to talk to, but well, I'm not that good at mediating. Fegos, I'm sorry. Things just kept piling up. Is there anything you need me to do? I don't know. But I'm gonna go sleep this horrible fucking night off. Good night. Are they crashing out because they weren't allowed into a call about a situation that didn't even really involve them in general? That they were trying to insert themselves into?
Honestly displayed
Because if so, this fucking message, that's fucking pathetic. That's silly.
some of the most guilt-trippy behavior I've ever
Go to
seen.
bed.
Even during the time of this later situation, I even tried to help
But whether it's intended or not does not negate the fact that you did in fact manipulate things in a way that puts you in a sympathetic light. The action of manipulating someone in a clever and scrupulous way that does not mention intent. Those are two definitions of manipulation. Okay, and I've never tried to cleverly manipulate facts or anything, and yet you did. I can't keep track of shit like you do. Okay, and I don't have time to keep it. Okay.
Fagos to realize some of the manipulative behavior they were displaying that was making things really difficult to push through. And of course that didn't go well because Fagos was so obsessed with their intentions while completely ignoring the actual effect that they were having on a thing that was supposed to be helping Kylie with a situation that was, again, very traumatic to her. Once again, I understand that mental health struggle.
No one likes to think of themselves as a bad person, which in some cases can lead us to failing to evaluate the effect of our actions when we become too focused on our intent over our impact. Fagos failed to understand this.
I literally gave them the suicide hotline because they were freaking me out like this when, reminder, I was only 16 years old and knew they needed someone to talk to that wasn't a fucking minor on the internet. But as you'll see, it gets worse. Unfortunately, all of my advice seemingly fell on deaf ears because when Fagos asked why Kylie had been so distant, Kylie basically said that they didn't feel comfortable talking with them after all the trouble they were causing, especially with the guilt tripping over not being allowed to.
When I told you I didn't appreciate the guilt tripping after I was trying to fix a situation and you weren't around wanting to be involved in things when I said not to. Bro!
Help, which was on.
Nobody wants to sit with me at the art commentary lunch table. It's fine. I fucking deserve it. Whatever. I'm going to bed. I hate this stupid fucking... Like, come
honestly
on.
becoming a pattern at this point. And
This is
instead of
just sad.
respecting that decision and just apologizing in response to Kylie simply saying they were uncomfortable with the manipulation, Fagos went on a diatribe about how they
Honestly, I never wanted to guilt trip you in any kind of way, but that point in time, I was solely focused on giving you the help you needed to go in there and help any way I could because I genuinely want the best for you. Is this some sort of like savior complex bullshit? I had a few bumps after a couple of weeks, both IRL and online from that point on. My mental health took a blow. Not a big one, but big enough to make a dent in my whole psyche. I don't know if I'm guilt tripping you now by saying this, but I really want to make sure I'm not guilt trippy by saying any of this. But I did genuinely wish the best for you. I was so against the idea of being left out because I wanted to be there in every step of the way, but seeing you favor Dulu... Dude. Favor Dulu over me not really being there really crushed me. I slipped way down too far with that whole defending a meme kind of thing, and while the contents of that argument do not matter to me in the slightest anymore, what happened because of it really drove me to despise what's happened. I genuinely didn't want to bring up my state of being, but ever since that whole shitstorm happened, what's happening? I left for like 15 minutes. We're learning about art commentary lore. We're learning about Fagos right now. Then we're gonna move on to Heaton. All of these are Chuli's videos, by the way. We're gonna go from Fagos to Heaton to Caden Monroe. A lot of stuff. I'm trying to catch up, bruh. This is so fucking stupid, though. It's like, I know you guys told me not to get involved, but I really wanted to get involved, and like, I hope you think I'm not fucking guilt-tripping you and blah, 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 blah. You'll learn about Fagos later, okay? You'll learn more about that. Okay, I genuinely didn't want to bring up my state of being, but ever since that whole shitstorm happened, I've been really off the rails. I haven't done anything to help myself because I've been thinking over and over about if I'm guilt-tripping people by not talking to them about my stuff or whatever I'm doing. I'm forcing myself to be apathetic and not cause a shitstorm even though I'm still mad, upset, or anything. I genuinely didn't know I was guilt-tripping you in that time frame. That entire time, I just wanted to be there throughout all of it, and that was it. Okay, you wanted to be there, but like, they told you they didn't want you to be there. Who fucking cares? Okay? Who cares? Who fucking cares? These guys didn't want me to touch it, but, they told me not. I really wanted to, but because I got told not to, fuck this stupid night, I'm going to bed. Like, bro. want to see this whole thing through and try to bring things around, but considering it's been months and I still can't bring anyone around to even agreeing with me on this, I just want to say sorry. Okay, whatever. Dude, who cares?
Didn't want to guilt trip her. In between guilt tripping, Fagos decided that Kylie was playing favorites and talked about how crushed they felt to see Kylie choose me over him, as if we weren't just trying to get through a stressful situation that they were actively inhibiting the resolution of. And worst of all, right after saying for the millionth time that they aren't trying to bait forgiveness
Okay, so I'm guessing Dulu is
by trying to make her feel bad for them, they immediately say that they're not going to grow or get better if the people they affected aren't going to stop being mad at them for what they did, which is S-tier guilt tripping.
It's not on the other people for you to fucking change. It's on yourself. Obviously, other people can help you change, but, like, this isn't about that. This isn't about that. They're upset with you for shit you did. Boo fucking who? Maybe put in the work and improve yourself.
honestly,
I know this is, like, fucking 3 years old, but, like, goddamn, bro.
Everything they said about not trying to guilt trip completely void. Like, stop. Let me just pause to say this. You are never responsible for another person's growth or well-being, and
Oh, wow. I just fucking said that. Whoa.
putting the responsibility of that on another person in order to get forgiveness for the hurt you caused is blatant manipulation. And I wish that I understood this back when Fagos started perpetuating this idea back when I was just 16, because I fell for it. If someone tries to guilt compassion from you, they're not being genuine, run. From this, I hope you can see how you learn very quickly that dealing with Fagos, even when you're being as calm and as nice as possible, is extremely difficult. Not if you're letting them have their way, but if you reinforce any boundary or confront them about any harm they've done in any way, it's never an easy situation. This is kind of where this particular series of events ends, but I want you to keep in mind a lot of the behavior displayed by Fagos as we're moving forward. So now comes the time when I have to talk about what made everything a lot worse and get into a story that's extremely dark. And honestly, looking back, it still doesn't even feel real. I'm gonna try and tell this as matter-of-factly as possible just so I can get through it, so I'm sorry if I sound emotionless while going through things. So back in mid-2019, a random Twitter profile appeared accusing Fagos of multiple crimes,
Stories! I remember that fucker.
including sending illicit pictures to minor under the age of consent, being
Okay, with Fagos, he didn't seem too distressed about it. The next time she talked, another user came forward about their encounter with Fagos on Kik, a messaging app. He proceeded to solicit the user for nudes despite telling Fagos they were 15. He then sent them...
sexual with their ex, who I'm not going to name here, there's no reason to, while she was under the age of consent, and sexually assaulting 2 girls in a bedroom. It tagged quite a few people, so Kylie B, otherwise known as Ponder Sprocket, and I decided to look into things and reach out to Fagos to see exactly what was happening. After a bit of looking into things, we recognized the doc showed screenshots of Fagos' conversation with their ex from the perspective of their Discord account, which led us to realize that they'd been hacked. Some of you may remember in 2019 there was a situation which prompted Fagos to have to create a new Discord profile. This was that situation. After getting Fagos' new account into the group, we eventually found out that someone that Fagos used to know in real life, who we'll call Jay, had broken into their house and took an old phone of theirs in order to get access to their accounts and fabricate evidence of them sending porn to a minor.
What? Why would somebody do that?
Under the age of consent, because the messages came literally right before the exposed doc was made and were, again, taken from Fagos' perspective.
It didn't even make
Jay
sense.
was not the story's account, however. That person was just an accomplice who was helping in the effort to ruin their reputation. By the end of one of the days pretty early on, I had actually gotten into DMs with the story's account in which they literally ratted out on themselves and Jay for breaking the law and both fabricating evidence as well as stealing their phone. Things quieted down publicly after that specific night, but the situation actually continued through November of that year. Prior to November, though, Jay ran away from their home and was put under a missing persons report, and they were found later, arrested for burglary, but before she really served any time in jail, we found out that she actually committed suicide, and
What? What the fuck is going on?
none of us knew how to process that. At that point, all of us just stopped talking about the situation entirely because, like, what was there even to say at that point? However, in November, another individual who was a friend of Fagos and Jay came forward with a pastebin that was basically just a list of testimonies about various wrongdoings that Fagos had allegedly committed, and nothing else happened after that. However,
I think this was before the Spockter trauma, but I
something that
really
is
don't
absolutely
know.
crucial to why I no longer talk to Fagos and want to make this video is that there's no easy way to say this next part. As I said, another allegation made in the doc, as well as the pastebin later on, was one of Jay alleging that Fagos sexually assaulted her while making another girl, who we'll call A, watch after trapping them both in a room with them. A was said to have later committed suicide, and the pastebin stipulates
What is up with these people, like, fucking killing themselves? What is
that
going
Fagos
on?
was mentioned in the note, or at the very least the abuse was. Some may think that seems implausible because they think justice would have come of it, but I believe that's an ignorant
Is that the same person who fucking killed themselves originally? What?
said to have later committed suicide, and the pastebin stipulates that Fagos was mentioned in the note, or at the very least the abuse was. Some may think that seems implausible because they think justice would have come of it, but I believe that's an ignorant view to take on the matter, as the sentencing
What did
rate
I say? What did I say, Raven? I said nothing. Give it time, go? Okay, I'm giving it
for
time,
silence
but like,
is
what the
extremely
fuck is
low in both
happening?
the U.S. and
What did I say? What's up with these people killing themselves? Is that it? Like,
in
what's
Canada,
so
where
bad about
Fagos
that?
is from,
I'm like
made
confused.
even worse by the fact that
What's
the
going
victims,
on?
Jay and A, were said to have been trans women who the law is already incredibly unkind to. And I brought this up to them to ask to clarify if this was just another lie or if they could expand upon what was being talked about, and I'll never forget how they responded in the call because to this day it sends such a chill up my spine. Fagos said, I was hoping you guys wouldn't ask about that and admitted to being drunk and not only locking both girls in the room with them and groping Jay, who was drunk and couldn't consent, while the other girl was sober and had to sit and watch, but they also admitted to keeping both girls silent on the matter. Ghost also admitted the acts at a later date when the other individual came forward with the situation in the form of the paste bin. The assault happened in 2015, which, mind you, is when Ghost became a legal adult. Both the Google Doc and the paste bin contained half-truths, like mentioning that Jay...
I'm kind of confused though, because like, didn't this person end up like being exposed for lying about this shit, or do I just need to let it cook? Am I
killed herself
jumping
for not
ahead?
mentioning that she was in jail at the time
know.
with no contact to anyone. And the doc, as far as
This shit is like melting my fucking brain because how absurd is it?
I'm aware, does straight up lie
Or
with
how absurd it is. Holy shit, dude.
evidence of a fake offense regarding sending illicit photos to a child. But the fact I'm aware does straight up lie with fabricated evidence of a fake offense regarding sending illicit photos to a child. But the fact of the matter is that Ghost admitted to the assault and trying to keep both girls quiet about what they did. They're a sex offender who clearly permanently altered these girls' lives for the worst. And this is something that Ghost has tried to keep
I think this was before the exposed call on Mayo's channel happened. Okay.
me silent on ever since, both in VCs and in text, which, mind you, isn't a trend that started because of this. This is something that Ghost has done to me as far back as early 2019, whenever we would have an altercation.
Okay, so should I keep watching this or go into the Fego slide about everything? Because I don't know if I should watch the rest of this. I think I get a basic gist of what happened, but I'll let it cook. I'll let it cook.
If
I'll
I
let
was
it
in a
cook.
shared space on Discord, like in a server or anything, they would find where I was and join, staying completely silent just to make sure I wasn't saying anything. And better yet, after I dropped them and started warning some of my friends, I found out that they also did this to another person who was even younger than me, back when they were in
Fego slide. Watch Heaton vid. There's a summary. Okay. I think I know about, okay. We're just moving on, okay? I think I get the basic gist. Okay, backstory. All right, awesome. Okay, we're going on to the Heaton shit. Let me find something, okay? Let me fucking find something. This bitch pisses me off. Hold on. Ugh. God. Fuck. Okay. All right. So I have my own experience with Heaton, all right? So when the fuck was this? Genuinely. When the fuck was it? Dude. Where the fuck is that? Okay, so that was in 2022. That's when this whole fucking thing happened, all right? This is... To be clear, though, I've said this multiple times. Lyle Convoy has, like, apologized to me for this whole fucking thing, all right? My first introduction to Hitennorurouni was... What was that? What do you mean, what the hell was that? What happened? What? Hello? I'm confused. Anyways, Heaton, right? I experienced... Okay. How do I word this? Okay. Let me fucking lock in. I wasn't moaning. Shut the fuck up. Anyways, I met Heaton due to the whole Lyle Convoy Senate shit. All right? Fucking hell. I'm not... Oh my god, stop. The weird noises you were making probably. Okay. Okay. In 2022, I was in a group chat with Birdie and the Maryland dude, okay? We had some beef with Spoctor, all right? Birdie wanted me to make a video about Spoctor. I didn't want to do that. I was manic in the group chat, so I was just like, okay, I'll go get help for y'all's accusations or whatever the fuck, right? So I look up Spoctor on YouTube and I see Heaton's video. I didn't watch all of it. I barely watched any of it. But I went to their fucking Twitter and I DM'd them, right? And I was like, hey, where is it? Fucking hell. I have the DMs here. Fuck me. Fuck. Ugh. Okay. So I was like, hi, okay, I just saw your Spoctor video. I know you probably don't want any further involvement with him, maybe. But, he's friends with and defends a literal animal abuser and refuses to cut them off. When I tried to contact him about this, by the way, this hasn't been the first time he's told me that his friend is an abuser, or he's been told that his friend is an abuser in general. He blocked me. And this dumb fucking Okay. This dumb bitch, right? I tell her that, which, like, I will admit, I didn't go about the situation the best. I didn't word my shit the best. And also, I was having a fucking Wi-Fi error, so you're gonna see a bunch of, like, weird fucking messages that don't make any sense. But Heaton's response was, I'm gonna ask you the realest question. What the actual fuck do you think you're doing in my DMs right now? You just swung accusations of a random person you did not name. Spoctor. Baby, we don't know how to read, apparently. You didn't name them. You didn't name them. You didn't fucking name them. What are you talking about, retard? You just swung accusations of a random person you did not name with a random screenshot of a random person blocking you for being a weirdo in their DMs with zero evidence to any of the wild shit you just came to a stranger about, apropos of literally nothing. So I ask you so seriously, what did you think I was gonna do about it? You even said I didn't want further involvement. That should have been your clue. I said, I know you probably don't want any further involvement with him, maybe. What are you on about? Anyways, we had like a back and forth, and I was trying to talk about how he was like platforming this alleged animal abuser in his dice recovery server called Koi Pond, if you remember that. And we had like a back and forth, and I was trying to explain how like, fucking hell, fuck me, I can't speak. And so I'm just like, okay, that's literally Spoctor. Fucking and what do you want? He also co-ran the dice recovery server that he posted in his video. My brother in Christ, what do you want? Okay, this isn't fucking going right. Oh my god. Okay, whatever. Anyways, I'm like, if you do want evidence, I can literally add you to a group chat with Birdie and the others he's affected. I'm not throwing random accusations. We have stuff to back it up. If you don't answer my goddamn question, I'm blocking you. Tell me why you are in my DMs. It's 6 minutes to midnight. And then, blah, 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 blah. I saw that you covered Spoctor before, and I literally need help with the situation going down with him. I don't want to make a video that has dog shit points in it, and I don't know who else to go to or ask about this, so I figured since you covered him recently, you could help, as in a second opinion or something. Also, I just realized my messages are delayed. I'm sorry about that if my responses were weirdly timed when I sent them. For me, they all registered as being sent together, but I just scrolled up after I refreshed, and they didn't. And then this motherfucker basically tells me, well, if you really want to talk about Spoctor, then you'll join the Senate server. If not, then I don't give a fuck. Like, fucking hell. No, I said I wanted nothing to do with it. I have no context, and you openly acknowledged that, and you knew that walking in here, if you think that your points might be dog shit, then you clearly don't have the damning evidence you think you do. It's almost like this is another spurious case of nonsense that you're involved in for no goddamn reason. If you're in the DMs of someone who said multiple times that they didn't want to be involved in something because you won't want to get even with someone without showing me jack or shit, if you're so determined, I'll be here tomorrow at noon CST. And that was the fucking Senate server. And then they went to fucking Lio when I was talking about it, and Lio was like, since I know you're looking, GoatCatto, most people aren't terrified of a basic call. They also don't try to get other people to support accusations for them. I wanted a second opinion, you dipshit. And then fucking, where is it, bruh? Fucking like 2 goddamn years later, after this shit was already resolved, in 2024, mind you, so what, last year? Lio hardly needs the alley-oop, but this one is 100% true, by the way. Goat came into my DMs trying to slam Spoctor for something they couldn't prove after I said I was no longer comfortable talking about what was happening. You know what you could have fucking said to me? You could have been like, hey, I understand you have some concerns, but I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to be further involved. Instead of being like, what the actual fuck do you think you're doing in my DMs right now? Like, bro, calm the fuck down, bro. Like, what the fuck? I was 18, bro. I still have the DMs. Not gonna delete them as at the moment because a BB for each fit isn't enough to, but I do have them. I was 18. I was fucking 18, bro. This was like 3 years ago. You're fucking stupid. Anyways, Heaton. I already don't like Heaton. I don't think this video is gonna make me like them anymore.
Hello everyone. It's been a long time since I've uploaded. This video is late.
Check DMs. What the fuck is it? What do you want? What you fucking do? What the fuck? Dude. This isn't okay. This isn't okay. This is like fucked up, dude. This is evil. That's fucking evil. Why would you do that? Why the fuck would you do that?
It was supposed to come out in like May, and it's almost September, but who really cares? Life has not waited for me at all this year.
Do not goon to it, you fucking weirdo.
So unfortunately, it's taken this long. To anyone who's mad at me still making this video, and in particular, everyone who took every chance to write fan fiction about my life and abuse, every time I spoke the truth, in the words of a great stallion, fuck y'all. I ain't gotta clear my name on a motherfucking thing, but I'm finna get this shit off my chest and lay it to rest. Let's go.
The fucking... Hello? Why is it muted? What happened? Hello? Hello? What happened? What the fuck is up with this music in the background?
The
Hello?
following
Okay.
includes an AI replica of Heaton's voice used to read text that she has written. I condemn
This was 7 months ago, by the way, so it's like kind of recent, I guess.
all usage of an AI replicated voice to frame anyone for words they did not speak or
Well, copyright? Okay. I was just like, what the fuck? Did my audio like die or some shit? Like,
As
come
a
on.
brief trigger warning, this video is going to discuss topics of sexual assault, suicide, abuse, victim shaming, abuse apology, and
Also,
many
what's up with my thing?
instances
Hold
of
on.
sexual victimization of a minor. So if any of that is triggering to you, please don't feel pressured to stay. Another disclaimer, the main subject discussed in this video has already stated that she will not be watching.
Your Eldritch... I can't speak. Your I can't pronounce that word right now, okay? Your crusty, disgusting creature is tired. My lovely legionnaires. This is the end for me. Hey there, making one more quick post before everything resumes resumes its usual pace. I've been told a video is in the works on me, and I want to make something clear. I'm not watching it. At this point, this person is a detriment to my health and safety. I've said more than once that they have every right to be angry about what I said forever, and that remains true. I've clarified, apologized, and moved forward. If they don't want to believe that, I can't change their mind or feelings. However, I'm not going to self-harm and expose myself to their hatred of me. I'm not going to respond further. I was asked to leave them alone. I'm going to honor that request.
This
Hi,
video,
Glass.
as she thinks it would just harm her health, and she
Raven.
wants to respect that she was asked to leave
Raven.
me alone. I'm actually totally fine with that decision because, as you'll see, I don't want
No,
her
this is not Fegos. We're on about Hitennorurouni.
talking about things
We kind of just got the basic summary of like, what are your fans called? Goat kittens? I don't know. That sounds weird.
anymore since she can't be truthful. And as far as I can tell, she's actually
I guess cattos or some shit, but that also sounds kind of cringy, dude.
been doing a good job in keeping her nose in her business where it belongs.
kittens!
I did write a lot of the script to address her in second person because that's just how I wrote it, but just know that she will not be watching this video according to herself. Do not prod and poke at her anywhere to watch this video. I'm not saying you can't talk about the situation at all, but do not provoke her. I'm making this video because I want my story to be known comprehensively and for that information to be immortalized. Otherwise, if you have not kept up with this situation from past old videos or need a refresher, let me just give you a brief summary. Starting in 2019,
that's
when I
right.
was 16 years old, and for 2 years after, I was emotionally abused, gaslit, threatened, and emotionally blackmailed through suicide by a former YouTuber and my friend at the time, Feghost, also known by their real name Liam, or by their current aliases Billy and Jelly Skelly. Feghost made me and 2 others by the names of Clownteeth and Pondersprocket believe that we helped get a mentally ill sexual assault victim arrested who would later kill herself in police custody. We did not know that she was a victim of sexual assault at the time we were trying to get her arrested, nor the extent of her apparent mental health issues. During that time, we antagonized her for the hurt she was causing and lies she was spreading about our friend. Of course, only for us to be told by Feghost themselves that one of those lies, that being that she and another girl who also committed suicide were sexually assaulted by Feghost at a house party, was true. After this period, Feghost regularly displayed suicidal ideations and would even threaten to kill
Oh, thanks for the $2. I'm your little Discord kitten. Ooh, okay.
themselves, as shown in my original video. They also decided to check in with me regularly in private to make sure I wasn't telling anyone about the story. Being made to believe I had a hand in one person's suicide, I did not want to do anything that would upset them until over a year later in 2021 when I was freshly 18, when the memories of the story I was told made me so uneasy that I confided in
So did Fegos actually like kill themselves, or am I confused?
Clownteeth about my feelings and how how uncomfortable I was knowing what I knew about Faghost and how they continued to act. When they found out about this and confronting me did not go well, they relentlessly hounded Kylie for a month about my suspicions, made me out to be the villain, said that I was talking shit about her, and even tried to pit Ponder.
Maybe I don't know what's been going on, but I'm scared that Dulu might be planning something behind the scenes and out of my purview. Okay.
Saying that I might be plotting something. Wait for it. After
Bullshit,
finally leaving me and
Faghost
Clown
is not
alone,
dead. Okay, so it's like the other person, the victim who apparently killed themselves. Okay.
after she essentially begged for them to calm down about me, I once again kept quiet until November, when I told another YouTuber that I was close friends with at the time what was happening. Everyone cut Faghost off, and on December 5th, 2021, I posted my video, Faghost Needs to Leave. 2 days after the upload of my video, Faghost uploaded their own video, proving that the story they told us about the assault, the one that they harassed me and my friend over and tried to pit my friends against me for believing, was a lie. The girl that we had antagonized and helped get arrested was a Faghost sock puppet account, as was the Twitter account that tried exposing them. When I found this out, I was possibly more angry in my life than I ever had been. I had posted a comment on Faghost's video telling them that I wanted their social media presence entirely removed, which included deleting their
Genuinely, why the fuck would you do any of that? Like, even as a form of fucking self-harm, being like, I raped a girl. Like, what? What's the point of this?
Twitter and YouTube. Faghost started leaving old DM groups that we shared, which I continued to kick them out.
Is it because they wanted people to encourage them to, like, kill themselves or something?
And I celebrated when they deleted their socials. This is where things take a shift, as at that point, another commentator by the name of Hitennorurouni made a thread about me and how much of a terrible person I was. I'm just gonna let the thread play out right now, so we can all hear exactly what was said.
I want to talk about this Faghost thing real quick, because this has escalated to a point I'm not comfortable saying nothing. Dulu's video is bad. The constant claims of manipulation, while actively showing them gaslighting him into believing he was a worse person than he was.
How the fuck are they gaslighting him into believing that he's a worse person than he is? The fuck? He was talking about admitting to sexually assaulting people.
Is vile and disgusting.
Whoa, bad.
Watching them actively cheer on the downfall of someone they admitted to knowing was emotionally fragile, and going into the comments of him telling his side of the story of what is admittedly interpersonal drama that they instigated, and telling him to disappear is reckless at best. You going into private chats and bullying him, then going into the place where
No, I think this is Heaton's AI voice.
he is trying to clear up his side of the drama is no better than him shadowing you in calls. It's bullying someone you know is mentally ill into isolation, and that's dangerous. It makes sense that you were recording Spoctor's sub count dropping for Penta if this is how you act. You didn't do this because you cared about victims. If he hadn't personally slighted you, we wouldn't know
But they literally were in whatever.
about any of this. If anything, this was Clown's story to tell, not yours. You don't get to play the weeping, tragic victim for supporting your friend through a hard time, just like I don't get to do so for helping my friends deal with your bullshit when you do this to friends over a small tiff. I feel bad for Clown. I feel bad for Faghost. You're a manipulative, spiteful bitch who wants to win a fight, not help a victim.
I think Faghost would be the manipulative, spiteful one. They gaslit, hello. They guilt-tripped, who was it? The other person, because they told them, there's too much shit. This bitch, oh my god. Fagost's a bad person. I don't fucking blame them for being mad at him.
It's real rat bitch behavior.
I don't know what I need to even fucking
and
say
I'd like
in this,
to say
okay? Amazing
I'm
GoatCatto
disappointed.
commentary.
But in
Wow.
order for that to be true, I'd have to be surprised. TLDR, this is going to get messier. And you'd better reel it the fuck in, or there
Yeah, it is, but it's because Truly wanted to hear what Heaton said in her own words because she refused to own up to anything she said.
might end up being actual blood on your hands this time. Dial it the fuck back. Quick amendment, because I do want this to be clear.
Oh, hi Ace, what's up?
If what Faghost is being accused of is true, then 100% this should be known, called out, and atoned for. This just isn't the way to do it. Open
Harassment over, like, fucking celebrating somebody who admitted to weird shit is how is that harassment? They're just celebrating that the bitch is gone.
Everyone admitted
Who
to
cares?
knowing is unstable, isn't it? I'm pissed at Junkie for ruining my commentary career, fucking up several relationships, and kickstarting several years of paranoia and fear, for example. I'm not gonna tap dance on Twitter about his numbers going down and people breaking friendships with him.
When my original video came out, the extent of which Fagos built their lie and forced it on me while I was a minor wasn't public knowledge, because I didn't realize that would be important at the time, because I thought it was true. But you know what? That doesn't matter, because nothing in the world could have made Heaton's thread and the things she said about me understandable. What?
I'm an outsider. I don't know really shit about the situation, but even like looking at the previous video, listening to the summary, I would understand why these people would be celebrating Fagos fucking getting off their platforms and deleting shit. I don't see that as fucking harassment. And even then with the DMs where they were like, having arguments, calling them shit. I don't care, bro. Like, they're under the impression that you're a fucking sexual assaulter. Like, okay.
Level of fucked up do you have to be to hear a story of a grown adult lying to a minor about sexual assault and suicide, and then claim that the person lied to was the gaslighting manipulative bitch and wasn't a victim? And that if they don't stop talking about the person who lied to them, then they're gonna be responsible for that liar's suicide or any other bodily harm. Do you understand how fucking sick that is? And to then try and...
Exactly, Ace. It's not fucking harassment, but of course Hayden's gonna be like, they're my friend, and you're speaking out against them.
Bring
Like,
up a mistake the victim made when they were 15 years old as a means to try and character assassinate them. That, in particular, by the way, is really funny, and I'm just gonna be a bitch here because this look back has been over 2 years in the goddamn making. Coming from a bitch who was participating in the collective bullying of Princess Elizabeth as a 19-year-old. And for those of you wondering,
19
yes,
is crazy.
This does mean that at the age where I was coming forward about the abuse I dealt with for 2 years and getting shat on by my old community, Heaton was beefing with an autistic 14-year-old.
An autistic 14-year-old at the age of fucking 19
on DeviantArt. And honestly,
on DeviantArt. Okay, how many layers is there to fucking Heaton's
good for
lore?
her.
What the fuck
I'd
is
rather
this
her
shit?
be a dick online at that age than dealing with whatever the fuck was happening to me. Glass houses, bitch. I don't know what to tell.
So celebrating a fucking weirdo leaving is harassment, but Heaton's going to ignore the fact that they, at 19 years old, engaged with like a smear and harassment campaign against an autistic fucking 14-year-old on DeviantArt. Whoa, amazing standards.
Tell you.
Whoa.
Anyways,
Wow.
yes, I recorded Spectre.
Has Heaton always been a fucking asshole?
Sub count going down as a 15.
Because like I've genuinely never heard anything good about Heaton before I even met them. I didn't really hear good shit about them. They're just like, oh yeah, that person's an asshole. And I'm like, okay.
Year old when he was falsely accused at the time of being a sexual predator. I also publicly apologize for doing it when I was 16. Here's something weird though, because I don't know what it is with Heaton having such a problem with people doing and saying mean shit to people who are believed to be sex pests. Maybe look into that. Anyways, I immediately responded to Heaton.
Glad you feel okay with victim shaming someone who was emotionally abused with my friends for years and lied about suicide. Please stay in your lane. You haven't talked to me in years. You do not know me. I don't wish to know you. Also, I love the you might have actual blood on your hands comment, which I hope isn't you insinuating I'd be responsible for Fagos hurting themselves. Okay, I'm gonna go off on a fucking tangent. Regardless of how mentally unstable somebody is, you can still criticize them. You can still be an asshole to them for valid fucking reasons, especially if you're under the impression that this person is a sexual abuser. It's not that fucking crazy. If this person is so unstable that they kill themselves over you being fucking snarky to them, that's not your fucking problem. You're not sitting there going, kill yourself. Do it. Get the rope. Do it. Like, no. You're not doing that. So you can't blame that. It's so fucking stupid.
Thread pointing out the disgusting behavior she displayed and how she
somebody hurting themselves and threatening to kill themselves because of you isn't necessarily... I don't know. I've got AIDS. I can't speak anymore. Fucking hell.
That she did, which then led to Heaton deflecting and making even more unfounded claims about me, which we'll go into more detail at a later point. After a quick back and forth, Heaton stopped talking about me, but as you'll see, that was far from the end of it. Because after Heaton's thread and after I responded, several people started repeating this.
Okay, let me rephrase this. Unless you're encouraging someone to actively hurt or kill themselves, or you're engaging in an actual smear campaign against them, you can't really be blamed. You can't, like, fucking blame that person calling the other person out for them hurting themselves or killing themselves. Whatever!
Same talking points that Heaton
I'm a broken
did,
record.
which
I
included
can't make
random
points.
people in the
Whatever.
community directly parroting Heaton and putting very triggering things in my mentions, like that I don't actually care about what Fagos did and that I'll be to blame.
Kosher. Whoa. Funny that, what I want to say, $5. Say kill yourself again, but slower. I need it for my goon folder. Please, please, please. I need it. Thank you for the $5, but I'm not saying that again. What? Well, okay, fine. Kill yourself. Okay, there you go.
blame if they kill themselves, or others telling me to grow up and stop treating the situation like a game, and that I was a toxic piece of trash, so fuck me. It also included several creators, small and large, like Artemi Musha, an old commentator
Who the fuck is this?
who posted a tweet thread about how if I
It's noble to out someone for reams of dreadful behavior, but to then go on and metaphorically kick that someone while they're down and clearly revel in the way the situation is unfolding isn't going to endear me to you. Fegos fucking abused them, who cares?
wanted his sympathy, I was gonna have to mind my
Don't do it,
manners
Ace.
with Faghost, basically admitting that he and the others in this community care more about the optics of how a victim deals with their abuse than the abuser in question's actions. Musha would even later go on to take time out of his own video detailing abuse he had gone through to posture about how much of a better victim he was going to be than
I hate it when people do this shit. They're like, well, I'm a victim and I didn't handle this situation that way. I don't give a shit, bro.
me, and call
Abuse victims are allowed to be mad at their fucking abusers, okay? They're not telling him to kill themselves or encouraging him to fucking harm himself. And if anything, they were encouraging him to fucking get help and
me
get
disgusting.
offline.
Rachel may have
Wow.
pages and pages worth of unsettling baggage, but she is still a human being at the end of the day, and nobody, least of all me, should wish or hope for harm to come to her. For this reason, in light of recent events, I am obligated to mention that I firmly and explicitly refuse to take victory laps around the situation, even on the off chance that everything does go the way I hope it will. Especially not if Rachel is drawn into an emotional and mental low point because of this. I've seen the tactless way that Dulu acted after calling out
They kinda
Fagos'
brought it on
manipulative
themselves,
behavior
though,
and
if I'm being
instabilities,
honest.
and having seen the
Oh, shit,
repulsive
thanks for the
defenses
10.
people
Go
have made in their
oiled
favour
up
after
one.
Dulu was called out
I'm
for
not
this
doing that.
tactlessness, I do not wish to reenact that mistake.
Another person who chimed in at the time was Manga Common, a channel
this
with over
fucker.
100,000 subscribers at the time, who, while was much tamer in the things he said about me, still used my abuse situation to complain for half
Okay.
a thread about how I blocked him, which... Jesus fucking Christ. Also, after admitting to not having watched my video because he didn't care, still went out of his way to unsubtly pry people into giving him screenshots of my outburst so that he could then talk about how egotistical I was coming off. I honest to God despise this type of behavior because of how cowardly it is. Like, you want to involve yourself in a situation that has nothing to do with you to throw your 2 cents in, but not do any of the work that should come with doing that and present yourself as someone who doesn't care. If you actually didn't care, you would have shut the fuck up after condemning Faghost instead of using it to bitch about how the victim blocked you before going around to snoop for more things to comment on. You think you're being slick? And you're not. You're just being a nuisance. There was also notable FCK member and groomer
great.
enabler
Nessie Monster. Oh, wait.
who
Yeah,
very-
knew it. Ah, fuck. It's always Nessie. That's something else I need to fucking catch up on is the Nessie Monster FCK shit. But that'll be in another stream, like I said. I'll go over AV Haltman, etc. Oh, shit. Thank you for the 20, Cal. Go am. Oh, shit. 5 GoatCatto gift memberships. Thank you, Cal. Metapome, Cedar, Jalo Rancho, Cryptid. Whoa. And Raven Callie. Welcome.
Very
I need to upload emojis, okay? I feel like I'm cucking you of your nice GoatCatto member content, alright? Alright? Whoa. You got your... Wait, is your alt... Wait, you're on an alt. Holy shit. Oh, hello? What the fuck was that? Anyways.
greatly. Not really. Tweeted that
God
day
hates you
insinuating
because you're evil, okay?
that I was simply waiting for the opportunity to treat someone like garbage and didn't care about the safety of others like I stated, despite me being arguably the most harmed and vulnerable subject of Liam's abuse. I love having to point that out because you fucks hated
Why are these people even defending fucking Faghost in the
so
first
much.
place? I
Which
don't
is also
really
funny
understand
because now
it.
that Nezzy has been in the hot seat for damn near a year for enabling a groomer and lying about that groomer's
shit,
actions
thank you
and
for
the knowledge of them
$4.99,
to
a
others
little
in the
jumping
community,
sticker.
has switched to the
That's
defense
cute.
that they were a stupid 19-year-old and
Thank
obviously
you.
shouldn't be held to the same standard as today. So where was that compassion and understanding for me when I was 19 and had a
Why
single
don't you use the VTuber no more? The VTuber's getting fixed actually with the hair clipping and stuff like that. I heard you're into toes with ranch. How does this affect your legacy? No.
outburst on Twitter, especially when I didn't even do anything actually wrong. I should note that I called Nizzy out on this on Twitter recently, and instead of apologizing, they simply had another enabler of shit behavior in the community, Avi Haltman, block me. Bitches act like accountability shot their parents in front of
I'm
them.
not fucking TOCATO, shut up!
I swear to God. So as you can guess, that day was awful. There were a few people, not creators, who stepped in to defend me and try and get these people to empathize with how angry I was, and I really do appreciate those people. I thank you very, very much for trying to help me in that situation. Despite those few, though, the only public things creators said about me were condemnations of me, while the greater community stayed completely silent on the way I was being treated, because most of them agreed with it.
Oh, wait, Marcus rated? I didn't fucking see that. What are you talking about? I did not see that shit at all. Like, there's no fucking pop-up in my chat. But what? Hold on. Marcus was members only.
Just 2 weeks later, Heaton was home
that.
police for her junkie video by Spockter, and every single person who was silent when she did it to me jumped with their pitchforks to defend her, like they all suddenly decided that home policing is.
And before someone asked me about it, yes, I saw Spockter's video. He can casually fuck himself. We love seeing someone being honest, that they're defending someone's terrible actions because they're friend, and tone policing someone who's speaking out. Yes, my video is angry. I don't care. Isn't that what you're fucking doing? Isn't that what you're fucking doing? To Chuli? What?
Wrong, actually. Love that. Never mind the fact that Heaton's popularity was bolstered by this, and she became known for being tone policed when she had no problem doing the tone policing earlier that same goddamn month. This made me feel absolutely horrible, leaving me to wonder why no one had a problem when it was done to me enough to speak up about it, and wondering who I could even trust at that point. Spoilers, it was practically no one. In early 2022, I found out that Musha made that video where they publicly shamed me to bolster their own image as a victim, and no one had a problem with that either. Many of you know that 2022 was a rough year for me, mostly for reasons outside of the internet, but I just want you to know that all of this nonsense was happening at the same time that every other facet of my life was on fire. So, you know, horrible all around. So horrible, in fact, that in September of 2022, I quit YouTube as a hobby, passion, and source of
welcome back.
Income for me that I made a lot of connections with, because I just felt so unwanted and hated by the way people talked about me and the abuse I endured. And a month later, Heaton decided to respond to comments asking her about why she thought it was okay to talk to me like she did, and not only lied about the things I did in my abuse situation, but
she was mad he followed her into private calls to make her feel unsafe, and that he was claiming she was talking about him behind his back, only then to show herself following him into private calls to make him feel unsafe and talking about him behind his back. She and Clown have every right to be angry with what happened. They do not have the right to stoop to his level. It is in fact possible for you to be a victim and an aggressor at the same time. Straight up lie. Oh no, I talked behind a sex offender's back.
Ended off by claiming that I was an aggressor.
Genuinely, why would you want to fucking defend an alleged sex offender in the first place? Oh my god, they were talking shit about this person. Who fucking cares? I don't care.
Fast forward to March of this year, and the Rosa Call was re-uploaded and caught a lot of people's attention. The Rosa Call, for those wondering, was a voice call in the now defunct server called The Senate that happened on January 31st, 2023, wherein a disabled woman responsible for not banning a predator in a friend's server was verbally abused, called slurs, misconstrued, and sexually harassed for nearly 4 hours. The owner of the server, who also controlled the call, was YouTuber Lyle Conway, who was an, at the time, self-proclaimed predator hunter. He did apologize for that call, but however people decide to take it moving forward is up to them. As for me, I had known of this call's presence for a while because my friend Pondersprocket had brought it up and told me how much of the Senate server was shitting on her for speaking up during it, but I didn't actually know any of what was actually said. I did know, however, that Heaton was part of it playing defense for the call's behavior, though again, I didn't know exactly what she said.
Well, of course she's gotta fucking defend it. Heaton's an asshole. She gets mad at other people for taking out anger on people that she likes or people she's been friends with, but she has no issue doing it herself, okay?
Thankfully.
In fact, she's like a raging bitch on her fucking period. Okay, that's sexist, but I don't care. She fits the stereotype, okay?
Another YouTuber, Omnia, made a couple videos going over the call in detail, and the second one included clips of what Heaton said.
I think the insults, like, is where we're drawing the line, the ad hom, I think is ridiculous, because in a normal situation where this is a normal kind of debate, I would agree with you 100%. I'd be like, yeah, that's too far, that's this, that, and the other. This is not that. Like, very transparently, this is a person who openly faked a panic attack while being confronted about actively letting pedophiles occupy a space, and who pretended to cry on live stream about it. Like, this is the thing where I'm gonna have apparently one of the hot takes of the room and say,
so you're gonna say that somebody's pretending to cry in order to guilt trip, but when you talk about fucking Fegos doing the exact same shit, which by the way in this situation you can't prove it, you're just like, no, he wasn't doing that, like, shut the fuck up.
There is a point where, yes,
such a fucking sweeper,
a calm conversation can be had.
Whoa.
I have no problem with character assassination of someone who actively downplayed the grooming of children, and I think the idea that saying things that are incredibly mean to them, like calling them a whore and stupid, is, I think the fact that that's where the line's being drawn is insane.
When I heard the way this woman was defending the group insulting and ableist, misogynistic harassment of a woman with autism severe enough that she needed a caretaker at the age of 30, during a point in time when she was still completely backing the revolting things she had said about me for celebrating my abuser leaving her platform.
I think she is responding to Ponder here, yeah.
I was
because
completely
Ponder speaks up and she's like, honestly, guys, why the fuck are you doing this?
pissed, to say the least. And you know what? I felt the same way about her video on Spockter, where she complained endlessly about having been tone policed by him and how horrible he was for doing that and not seeing her as a victim. Wow, that's crazy, Heaton. Honestly, that video is one of the worst things you can listen to when you're aware of how she completely stood by the way she treated me and would even defend her behavior in the comments when confronted, as previously mentioned. It highlights her hypocrisy in a blinding light and shows her absolute refusal to empathize with me as a human being, you know, despite the fact that she was able to sympathize with the grown-ass adult that abused me with ease from the start. Seriously, if you took a shot every time she leaves a criticism against Spockter in that video that could come ramming into her headlight-lit fuck-ass deer face with the same force and validity, you'd need to call poison control by the end.
You have a lot of fucking nerve.
This is Clown's story to tell, not yours. You don't get to play the weeping tragic victim for supporting your friend through a hard time, just like I don't get to do so for helping my friends deal with your bullshit. It wasn't as...
Telling people how they're allowed to feel and react to something that ruined their life. Or is it just different when you do it? You're saying that a victim has no right to take an aggressive, angry tone with someone who hurt them. Rules for thee and not for me? Great. You...
Oh, hypocrisy. Okay, so you're gonna fucking bitch at Chuli, but be like, Spectre, you're bitching at a victim for being rightfully angry with someone? What the fuck? Stop tone policing, you little whore. Like, bro, you're the whore. You're the whore. You're a fucking hypocritical whore. I hate you.
Outsider who knew jack and shit does not get to choose the tone I take with people who hurt me. Just I don't get to do that for you. You are literally telling victims that the people who commentate on their pain are more justified to anger than they are. It seems like he always goes in emotion.
Wow. Amazing.
First and brainwaves third, but laying out this in front of me, it seems like nothing but malice. So he lies again about not knowing the context. He doubles down on his statement that I took the wrong tone, and implies he didn't even see me as a victim. Great. Glad to know that Lily's Garden ads in a FurCon video were more important than you giving that victim a voice. This is keep victim blaming and tone policing, and I'm tired of you pretending that you're a better person when it's not looking like that's true either. I'm exhausted. I'm tired of having people who hurt me have the last word though, so here I am.
Genuinely, how did anybody tolerate her existing in this community for so fucking long? She's fucking weird.
So yeah, it pissed me off that she took 2 years to even realize that the way she talked about me was wrong in any way and dish out 2 tepid apologies that rival the Notes app apologies of the 2010s in terms of thought and sincerity. More on that later. So what did I do? I put her on blast. And in calling out her hypocrisy, I wanted to test something by seeing how Heaton would react to being hit with the same energy and vitriol that she repeatedly put out at her targets. I hit hard and I hit a lot. And Heaton immediately folded. She locked her account and posted a passive-aggressive tweet with some questionable content about how she'd be lucky if she didn't end.
This is not an April Fool's joke. I'm locking the account and probably not going to be streaming this week. I've cracked. I tried to be strong enough and I can't fucking take anymore. I'm exhausted. If I'm lucky, I won't end up in the hospital this time. Take your W, I get. Oh, Heaton's they, them. Oopsies, my bad.
Followed by a passive-aggressive send-off saying, take your W, I guess. This was a wild reaction coming from someone who's made her YouTube career doing epic ponage on the people who wronged her, even boasting about how she'll always be able to outscream anyone. Does actions speak louder than words? Musha also made a brief reemergence during this time, comparing me to several sex pests and maybe even alluded to wanting to tell me to hurt myself or worse before getting ethered out of existence, ending by giving off an even more passive-aggressive exit than I'm sure Heaton could ever hope to give. However, before he did that, he responded to Clown Teeth when she defended me and said that he didn't like her bringing Ray's name into this. Dumbass, that was you who did that. But actually, I'll let Clown Teeth get her lick back on that later. Spoilers. But yeah, very normal behavior coming from these people. Anyways, after silence for 20 days from Heaton, she released a statement in which she begins off by saying she won't be making any excuses for behavior, as she then proceeds to lie about.
I wish I could say more about this situation, but like, once again, I'm a fucking outsider and I don't know what to fucking say other than I think this shit is retarded.
Me, her actions, and even blame my original video.
And I don't know how Heaton got away with the shit they did for so long.
She was so grossly misinformed.
I'm sure it's gonna go into more. Oh my god, we're still on the fucking backstory. Holy shit. Okay.
Abuse. That is why we're here today. I'm going to react to Heaton's document point by point and debunk everything. I will say this right now. I have more proof than I will be letting on. I'm choosing not to show all of it publicly out of respect for some of the people involved. However, if anyone wants to continue lying about the private situations that I have proof for, I will post what I have. I am not one to just throw private screenshots around.
Unless you've been here the entire time.
It's nothing. But when someone is publicly lying about private events, that is nothing to violate their privacy because they are violating the public's trust. However, this is the one chance I'm giving for things not to go there. I'm not playing around. If the lying continues, I will make a pinned comment linking to any tweet I post with any proof that needs to be posted that I have. I'll even label the links and have that shit organized. Hand to God. Anyways, on to Heaton's document. The document starts with Heaton addressing a situation with someone who I don't really know or keep up with, and as far as I can tell, that person's been defending themselves just fine. So we're going to skip over that part and go straight to the part of the document where she talks about the Rosa Senate call that had blown up.
Been here for a bit, just made an evil tweet.
Second is the Rosa call, where people are getting the idea I said that it was okay to tell her to die, slut shame, or call her slurs. I don't know, because I literally said the opposite. I specifically said in that call I disavowed calling her slurs or going that far. What I condoned was the pettier insults.
But you were taking issue with Ponder speaking up about that and being like, is that where we draw the line? Who cares? This person did blah, 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 blah. I think it's warranted. Like, I don't care.
One of the insults you specifically cited as being okay in the clips I posted was calling Rosa a whore. That is very blatant slut-shaming. Rosa is also a victim of SA, which, again, no one in the call knew, but that's why you shouldn't slut-shame and use insults like that in that manner towards someone. I'm not talking about friends.
Okay. You know what? Maybe I will look at Twitter on stream because there's something very glorious I just fucking saw on my phone. All right, come on. Oh, what is this? What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? Why did you tweet this? Why? Why? What the fuck? Man. Fuck. Fuck. I've been needing to be honest because I feel I am lying to my fans otherwise. I really love feet and I can't get enough of them. Hope this helps. What the fuck? Okay. Cool. Cool. Amazing.
Calling each other sluts and whores and bitches and whatever, that's an entirely different ballpark and is not at all what's happening here. The slut-shaming was deliberately malicious and was meant to demean Rosa in a sexual and misogynistic manner. Rosa was also called fat and made fun of her living situation and needing a caretaker for her disability, both of which were discussed while you were there listening. It's in the video. I did the math on the timestamps. Do not test me on this. You did not condemn any of that. All you wanted to do in that call was defend your right to insult people who you think deserve it.
I feel like Heaton has like okay. Heaton has major anger issues. I feel like Heaton needs to go to a therapist instead of getting mad at people on discord.com in order to take her anger out and like fucking cope with it. Because how can you be, how old is Heaton now? Like 20 something, if not entering her fucking 30s? I forget. All these people are old as fuck. But how do you beef with a 14-year-old autistic kid on DeviantArt? How do you beef with me over stupid shit? How do you beef with Chuli for being rightfully upset and fucking celebrating their abuser, like fucking getting off the platform? How do you sit there and bully another autistic person, Rosa Ray Ramsey? It's so fucking stupid. So fucking stupid.
Family members
but then they get mad at other people for doing the same shit to them or people they care about. Like, come on.
The only things off the table. However, I would like to set the record straight that I did not ever say
entering 30s this year. Amazing.
Heaton defended the use of slurs because I know she didn't, because I listened to that call and I know what I'm talking about. However, I should also make note that slurs isn't the only way to express bigoted sentiment, as there's a lot in that call even without the slurs.
If you want to get mad at me, sure, but I have the hot take to this day that a pedophile enabler doesn't deserve my civility.
Keep this bit in mind because we're going to be coming back to it.
You can have your disagreements with someone, but I think calling them a fucking retard and calling them a whore over and over and over and over again and verbally berating them for like fucking 4 hours is a bit much, no?
Detail later on.
Especially when you know that they're genuinely fucking disabled and they need a caretaker at the age of 30. Why?
I think when someone is a danger to children,
you could have had a more productive conversation overall, but you just resort to fucking insults and shit.
Allows
like, that's
multiple
sad.
to be groomed in their presence. Ambivalence to calling them ugly or stupid isn't a high crime. In that full call, I see Ponder and Harley's side, and we end up shaking hands in the middle. Not only have I never condoned the call since, but I also was one of the moderators who called for blood sports to be removed from the Senate, and was the only mod to put forward that we stop using slurs entirely after that call.
Heaton, if you don't want people thinking that you condone an event that you publicly took part in and defended at the time it was happening, you need to publicly retract your defense of the event and condemn it. It is insane to me that this is not clicking for someone who openly and loudly complained about people who wrong her, one of them very publicly, for not retracting and correcting one of their statements about her. This isn't rocket science. She then goes on to show proof of her denouncing the use of slurs in the Senate circle, which I'm not going to interrogate because, again, I never claimed the contrary. After that, she moves on to the main focus of the document, which is me, and how she handled my abuse situation.
Don't forget the lines she said to Fran during the Spectre drama. What was it that she said again? Oh yeah, that those words came out of your own dong swapper. What the fuck?
Faghost.
Finally, I want to talk about.
I think they only changed the fucking rules and shit and pushed the idea because they realized they got called out by fucking Ponder and more people started voicing their opinion on it. I don't know. That's just my assumption as a fucking outsider and somebody who like briefly knows about the Rosa Ray Ramsey call because I watched that entire thing.
I want to open up by saying again that the things I said were wrong. I am not going to make an excuse for them. I never have, and she reserves the right to be mad at me. I'm not saying she can't be frustrated by that thread. What she doesn't have the right to do is lie about my intent and paint me as a monster to others.
I think it's hilarious that
I don't understand how Heaton can get mad at Julie for celebrating their abuser being deplatformed, then also get mad at Ponder for calling out the bullying in the Rosa call. I can't follow the logic. I don't fucking know. I don't know.
Spent 2 years lying about me, my intentions, my actions, painting me as an aggressor in my own abuse, turning me into the villain of my own abuse, and had...
If Heaton's okay with bullying Rosa, then why are they mad at Julie and vice versa? I don't fucking know. I don't get it.
Until 3 people consecutively came to her and told her that she fucked up. But
Same motherfucker who beefed with a 14-year-old, autistic 14-year-old at 19.
Spent a couple of weeks talking about things she actually did with a lot of
Sonic
proof as we get into, and suddenly I'm lying about her intent and painting her as a monster. Okay, we'll see how those statements hold up.
So here's the thing. I did apologize for those things twice. Once publicly and...
Okay, hold on. Let me go back. I gotta read. Okay.
I did apologize for those things twice. Once public...
I want to hop on here real quick and talk about the old Fagos thread that I've talked to people involved a little more. TLDR, I don't stand by it anymore and I was in the wrong. I wasn't in the best headspace and came at it way too hot and fast. I've mentioned before that I have a personal hair trigger for people claiming gamins. Now having been explained the depth of everything, though I was out of pocket and I'm genuinely sorry to everyone. When their videos come out, listen to their words. I'm not going to talk about it anymore because I clearly don't have all the facts. Why did you fucking speak on it in the first place then,
and once
idiot?
In private. The
fucking
private apology
stupid.
came first. It was expressed that they wanted the original thread down, and a public apology made, so I did.
I think it's a little weird that she's bringing this up as though it's some kind of reveal when I've been transparent when all of this blew up about the fact that Heaton apologized. And my response to the first apology is literally my pinned tweet. I guess you could say that I never explicitly called the second one an apology, and that's fair, I guess. But I did talk about the contents of both apologies publicly already and directly showed them. A few people, like Musha, have criticized me for carrying on a situation that has already been resolved with this whole thing, which is just code word for it. She apologized.
Don't fucking speak on me, don't speak for me on harm done to me being resolved when you didn't even see what you did wrong. Heaton has yet to apologize for everything she's done, nor show the public exactly what she said since it happened. I had to do that for her. Go fuck yourself.
When I made it very clear in my public response to her one and only public apology that I was not happy with how she minimized all her horrendous actions towards me as just some out-of-pocket behavior, because it wasn't...
I was just, like, going through a hard mental time, you know? My mindset wasn't good, so I was an asshole, and I basically, shunned a victim for celebrating their abuser being gone.
And before
silly girl things, like, come
jumps me
on.
for being too critical of Heaton's apology, I'm not really interested in taking into consideration how other people, some of whom participated in the public shitting on me and still haven't apologized at all, feel about how I talk about the person that did the absolute most to lie about my abuse, make me the villain of it, and sympathize with my abuser, only to then delete her thread and issue a 3-tweet-long apology that doesn't mention my name once, where she spends 2 sentences retracting what she said in the vaguest way possible after 2 years. That's straight up not good enough. Especially when the first apology you dropped off at my door through Aaron was prefaced with you talking about all the things you didn't want to do for an apology. We'll get into why I hated that apology in more detail later because she brings it up, but newsflash guys, basing your apologies for the harm you did to others on your convenience is wildly inappropriate. I never accepted Heaton's apologies. In fact, the aforementioned pinned tweet...
Just me being compared to a serial abuser, told I wasn't a victim and that I only wasted a month of my life making that first Fagos video to get a few dunk points. It was me being told of this by her, while every one of our mutual friends sat back and watched, says nothing or agreed with her. It was me being isolated from practically everyone I used to talk to from my old community, wondering why didn't anyone say anything.
Ends with me saying fuck you to Heaton and everyone who ever sided with her. So how anyone got the idea that things were resolved after I publicly denounced her apology is wild to me.
Why did it take a year? Simple. I didn't know.
I'm still pissed that Heaton tone policed Julie after having completely bashed Spockter for tone policing her. Yeah, she's a hypocrite. She likes taking fucking her anger out on. That was a normal Heaton. That was edgy Heaton. Whoa.
Anyone had a problem.
Edgy Jack, edgy Birdie in my brain.
Julie and I have blocked each other. Safe to say I don't like her and she doesn't like me. Once again, I respect a boundary, and when I'm blocked, I don't circumvent it to watch the people I don't like. If I blocked you, I wouldn't want to see you. Simple as that. However, nobody ever reached out to tell me where I crossed a line at the time, so naturally, I didn't think I did.
I'm gonna say this next part, and I'm gonna try not to sound like a total bitch, but this needs to be said. Heaton, if no one really did come to you like you said, which did not happen, we'll get into it in a minute, there's a reason why people do not approach you, and that is because of how you are. In private and in public, you will...
Yeah, I learned my fucking lesson not to approach this bitch about anything because she'll immediately just fucking yell at you and be like, what the fuck do you think you're doing on my DMs? Like, okay, calm down, whore.
Twist people's words, make things about you that are not about you, ascribe intent that is not there, talk down to people, and be an absolute chore to deal with. I think-
Exactly. This bitch literally fucking spread a narrative to Lio about me that wasn't even true. I was asking for a fucking second opinion about some evidence because I didn't want to make a dog shit video and I wanted to get a fucking... I hate this bitch. I hate
back in
her.
2019
The more
that
I
you
learn about her, the more it fucking clicks to me. This bitch is a fucking. I hate her.
pushed me to post by lying about it proved that
That's a lot of fish, bro.
more than whatever the hell you thought it proved. In that argument, you started by telling
With the police, aren't you forgetting that Jocelyn mentioned that the mother and driver have police visits planned so they can turn them away? And when did you say this wasn't stressful for her? If Ponder made a video, I would be furious and never speak to her again. Sensitive. Dulu, calm down. Heaton wasn't putting words in your mouth. She was stating how stressful the situation would be for Eugenia and using that as a reason as to why Jacqueline's tactic wasn't a great one.
how I felt about the topic at hand. And when I told you to stop and clarify that I was just asking to hear about other apparent solutions because nothing from what I had heard at that point convinced me that they would work, you just condescended me with, well, you've never been in this situation before, I'd imagine. Like, Heaton, neither had you. No one in your life had a giant platform that entirely centered around and profited from actively suffering from the most deadly mental illness in the world. And when I asked you to elaborate on the possible solutions for the situation, you started screaming at me about how I was demanding you divulge personal stories about self-
Okay, also Heaton, your situation does not seem comparable in my opinion, so explain to me how the others work. Adding someone's mental conditions and abuse is dangerous because not only does it humiliate and stress out the person being abused, but it gives the abuser the motivation to fucking retaliate. Besides the police, because I already know those won't work based off of what Jacelyn has said, I can't because it's not my place to tell you about someone else's mental health and blank situation without their express consent. So you want me to betray a close friend's trust to prove a point about a bad video to you? Are you serious?
Harm and suicidality. Even when I was directly telling you that I was not asking for that. And I know that this argument happened literally 5 years ago. But given more recent arguments I've seen that I choose not to disclose right now, take that with what you will, I would be lying if I said these trains aren't still present in the current day. You also straight up don't get to say that no one ever told you anything. No, you were confronted. Several times even. Publicly about your tweets and actions towards me. You just deflected and dodged and lied whenever you were called out, much like you still are. You don't get to say, but no one ever told me I crossed a line as an excuse for why it took this long, when that is exactly what I told you when I initially responded. Since the beginning, from when all of this happened, I called your threat about me victim shaming. I called you out for telling me I'd be responsible for Vegas killing themselves. I called you out for lying about my intentions and comparing me to a serial abuser. And I told you didn't know me well enough to make the character adjustments like you had. And I told you to stay in your lane. And what did you do? You completely ignored everything I called out and deflected, saying that the reason why you don't talk to me anymore is because I tried to pry private mental health information about one of your friends out of you, which was a lie about that private argument that you probably didn't think I could argue. But surprise, I could. And when I proved to the public that you had lied about what happened in that argument, did you fuss up and apologize? Guys, I could. And when I
was asking how different help methods work because I didn't know or understand them. Okay, then yeah, they're not
to the
fucking
public that
prying
you
for
had lied about
information.
what happened in that
Hello?
argument, did you fuss up and apologize? Did you retract anything? No, Heaton.
This is
you
just
accused
fucking
me
messy.
of stalking you and said that if
I now have definite proof that Dulu is stalking my account despite having me blocked and posting about me where I can't see it and taking an argument we had out of context because it's in a chat I left because they and Junkie made me so uncomfortable I left. And she's now blocked, so if she keeps posting about me, I know she's block evading to harass me too. I'm done posting about this. I said what needed to be said. I hope Clown and B are gonna be okay, and I hope Fegos gets the psychological help he needs instead of doing something
said anything more about you shit talking me than
This is gonna sound like really fucking stupid. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. If somebody like blocks you and you just keep tabs on their account anyways, who cares? Unless they're like an actual fucking abuser of yours or some shit, and they're like literally like documenting every single thing that you fucking post. That would be stalking. That would be cyber stalking, right? But whatever.
Then fast forward to
even then,
October
it's a public
2022
fucking
when
Twitter
you were directly
account.
confronted about the tone policing in your comments of the video where you bitch for 40 minutes about being tone police and having your victimhood denied by a public figure. And instead of reflecting about your actions, you lied about me and claimed I did.
My issue wasn't with her anger. It was doing the exact same thing she was getting. Okay, whatever.
Things
We
that
already
straight
read
up
this.
didn't happen
It's
and
fucking
ended off by
stupid.
saying that I stooped to Vigos level and was an aggressor in my own abuse. So you want to come on here and be all like, well, no one told me. Heaton, you're insufferable to deal with. And you have been every single time you've been confronted about your actions in this situation, which is probably why you're surrounded by yes men, half of which are probably too scared to confront.
Ooh, okay. I can't really speak too in depth on what I know and what I was told about Heaton and their friends, but I can verify this information is fucking true. Heaton basically wants people who are going to enable them, people who, you know, are going to be their fucking yes men. Whoa. And then anytime they're fucking called out, they just play victim and go, well, you can't say this and you can't say that because blah, 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 blah. And you're talking to people who make me uncomfortable and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's messy.
Anything you do.
Basically, I hate this bitch. They're in a fucking echo chamber. They don't ever actually take real accountability. They always deflect or go, oh, my mental health, or oh, this happened, or oh, I didn't say that, or oh, well, this actually is what happened. I hate this whore.
This is how you
hate
are.
her.
It should not be the responsibility of other people, especially other victims like Clown and Ponder, to make sure that you aren't being a disgusting human being. Seriously, how fucking old are you? And also, if I'm being honest, you don't deserve a private confrontation for being a horrendous piece of shit in public. You deserved to be put on blast publicly, which is why I did
Exactly.
A few people have asked why it was sent through Aaron and not directly. Well, earlier on, I had been told that I was asked not to be present for the Phagos call in the Senate by Chuli. Naturally, I assumed this meant that she didn't want to be around me, so I respected the boundary and sent it through an intermediary I knew we could both trust. It's also why I haven't attempted to make contact since. When people express they don't want to be around me, I don't put myself in proximity to them.
Heaton, that's not what happened and you know it. First of all, the screenshots don't align with the timeline you gave us. I find it really weird that she tries to paint herself as someone noble that's just trying to respect my boundaries because I had asked for her not to be present in the Phagos Senate call, and that's why she sent it through a third party, when that apology was sent to me through Aaron.
What do you want? This is the second time you've sent me another friend request. I was curious how I chose to keep being a creep when I haven't really been doing much of anything outside of making dumb shit on Twitter that I've since deleted on YouTube and just has fan content on it. What aspect of that is creepy? And yeah, it's not made up, but in the way that I specifically told you about when I was in a call with you, Lio, I really don't give a shit if I have to dive into a Senate call and prove any sort of innocence on me on my end. I really hate to be told I'm a freak and shit without any, and I do mean any, backing to it. Sure, we can schedule a Senate call. Okay, so that's Phagos, blah, blah, blah. Hey, I asked Aaron to send you this because I really don't want to get in a call. If I can just sum it up here, neither of us like each other, neither of us need the stress, so 12/11/2023, and this was a month prior to that.
Over a month before Phagos even asked Lio for a call in the Senate. And that is because the timeline is wrong. Because Heaton is lying. Heaton did not send that apology through Aaron because she didn't want to disrespect my boundaries. She literally explained why she did it the way that she did in the beginning of her apology. I don't know why she's acting like we can't read the words she herself typed out that very obviously contradict the story she's telling. A very big thing that's missing from here is that Heaton will later talk about how 3 people, that being Lio Convoy, Aaron Tempest, and Ponder Sprocket, approached her this year. As in after both the private and public apologies. That's not how that happened. You see, how the story actually goes is I approached Lio on September 18th of last year while Ponder, Clown, and I were working on our Phagos video, which is still in progress. And I asked him if he could record a snippet denouncing the things said about me the day Phagos video dropped, like he had in a call prior to all of this where I explained the Phagos situation to him. He asked for proof, and I sent it to him, which included Heaton's tweets. He also asked why I wanted his take in particular, and I was honest and said it was because of his standing in the community, which at the time was very sturdy. Lio did not make a recording at the time and instead went to Heaton to talk to her about her tweets. I had mixed feelings about this, but I've since learned that he didn't make one at the time because hopeless motherfucking peaches made it their life goal.
You're lost. You're lost. Yeah, there's a lot. Catch me up. Okay, so basically we're going over ACC drama lore regarding Chuli and how the community failed her and how Heaton fucked her over and how Phagos fucked her over, and then we're gonna get into the Caden Monroe shit. There's a lot of stuff, okay?
To make sure that Lio and the community didn't trust us in the slightest because we just used him.
I can't genuinely. Oh my god.
So, the very reason why I felt I should ask someone.
I can't sum it up. There's too much going on.
Stable standing in the community in the first place. Wild that they would say that about me given their history of events. These fucking people, man. Anyways, I don't hold anything personally against Lio for that. And to talk about Lio for a second, actually, I am extremely disappointed in him this year. Because on one hand, I do not approve of practically anything he's done since the Cat Slayer, Senate 2.0, whatever the fuck we're calling it, has been created. I think I was pretty evidently upset in the chat of Streamline Workshop and Molly's stream about him over what I was seeing and hearing. But I also want to address that Lio has done good things for me. The Phagos call being the most obvious instance of that. But also how he defended me in the Cat Slayer when the server was really mad at me and spreading a ton of false information about me.
Look, I think it just needs to be recognized, and everybody's talking about how, well, Chuli's wanting, sympathy in droves. I don't think that's what Chuli wants, and frankly, even if that is what they wanted, this full-grown adult dicked with them when they were a kid, harassed them, stalked them, gaslit them, got them to believe they did horrible things when they had literally nothing to do with anything because it wasn't real, and then got dogged on for essentially victory lapping when Phagos was running away from everything. Like, yeah, I think Chuli's due a little more than a bit of sympathy. Like, that does something to people. Like, I don't understand why this is a difficult concept. I think there's some leniency to be given.
Genuinely, though, imagine getting harassed by an entire community just because you celebrate your abuser leaving. Like, it's so fucking stupid, bro.
Here's the problem when it comes to interpersonal things. And Lord knows I struggle with this, too. I mean, obviously, how many times have you heard me yell, oh, you're X age, how do you not know?
Gulp.
Julie, from what I can tell, from what very little I do know, is they probably had to grow up pretty doggone fast. They're going to be more competent at 19 than perhaps
yeah, definitely a Lio win.
other people would be. Maybe even perhaps more not.
Also, I'm chill with Lio, Fuzzy. Be nice. Be nice.
So I think that it's not fair to compare yourself to somebody else at that time frame. I get what Julie's saying, but not everybody has the same equipment. So I think that
Fun fact, Heaton also told Jar to apologize and discuss with those they hurt directly when they themselves went through another commenter to apologize to
be
Julie.
some nuance there.
Okay.
I think that in situations like this, there has to be a wider
That's fucking stupid. Rules for thee, not for
range,
me.
and there also has to be a lot more mercy and grace shown. But that's also my personal opinion, having dealt with a lot of stuff like this. Now, what I will say that I think needs to 100% come to a stop here is everybody immediately wanting to be negative or dog on Chuli without understanding where Chuli's coming from here. Because you gotta keep in mind, they dealt with a lunatic for a while, and then when they finally start taking the power back, they get dogged on by no small part of their own community. That had to be extremely isolating. So no, I don't blame Chuli for being angry.
So on one hand, I'm thankful for those things, and I don't want anyone to say that I'm not. But it almost upsets me even more because then I know that this man who was doing what I would consider, in very brief terminology, pretty bad things, is also capable of demonstrating such well-articulated, sweet, unapologetic empathy towards me to a crowd who doesn't want to empathize with me. So that's where I'm at right now. I can give credit where credit is due, but I also don't support Lyle being in charge of things.
I also genuinely don't understand why anybody is mad at Chuli. Like, who fucking cares?
That carry weight and can have an effect on other people.
It's such like a nothing burger situation. Okay, I'm not saying the situation itself is a nothing burger, but like getting mad at a victim for celebrating their abuser being gone is like fucking
people. Because
idiotic.
It's evident to me that he's
like, what are you even mad about? You don't have anything logically to be mad about.
Not capable of handling these situations properly. So, anyways, back to Heaton, our main star. Fast forwarding from September to November 5th of last year, I am just trying to enjoy my life. I just turned 21. I was getting ready to see Doja Cat in concert for her Scarlet Tour, which was amazing, by the way. And out of nowhere, I get a message from Aaron Tempest relaying Heaton's private apology. I immediately did not like this apology for several reasons, so let's get into it.
Hey, I asked Aaron to send you this because I really don't want to get into a call if I can just sum it up here. Neither of us like each other, and neither of us need the stress.
I know we're only 2 sentences in, but I'm gonna be honest, this is a really shitty way to preface an apology, and it's really insulting that you think you can just come on here and tell the public that you sent this apology out of respect for my boundaries, when this is literally how you started the first apology you ever sent me after the 2 years where you were continuously disgusting in the things you said about me and the abuse I faced. The fact that you thought you, as the person who did the harm, could come up to me and just go, I don't want to get into a call because we both don't like each other and we don't need to. As the person apologizing and just drop it off at my doorstep without any kind of public retraction, or even asking if there was anything I wanted you to do to help remedy the harm you caused, it really just showed me how much you meant this apology and cared about accountability, which is barely at all, if at all. She then went on to apologize for...
I feel like I'm zoning out. This might be a problem because we have an hour left.
Insinuating that Fagos didn't hurt or victimize me, and actually empathize with me for the one and only time during this entire debacle, talking about how she should have known better than to downplay my...
It was catty and disrespectful, and as someone who's had it done to by them, I should have known better. I try to hold myself to a better standard now, and I want to continue to do it by taking accountability with the people I've lashed out at. Yeah, right, bitch.
Is that something that's happened to her? But we'll see as I'm about to talk more in detail about how long that lasted. After this was sent to me, I knew I didn't like it, but I also didn't want to just react right out of the gate. I wanted to wait and see if she... had the good sense to correct what she publicly said about me. I asked anyone I had talked to about Heaton if they had said anything, and I found out that the reason why Heaton apologized to me was because Ponder had been in a VC with some SEC people and candidly talked about what Heaton did without naming her. Aaron Tempest, who was in that call, was able to figure out just from the description of victim shaming that it was Heaton, and when asked if that's who Ponder was talking about, had it confirmed to him by her. Aaron basically immediately left the call, and the next day I ended up with that apology from Heaton. So a month went by, and nothing. No retraction, all of the threads still up. Come to find out that that's because she still stood by the rest of her her thread. The claiming that I gaslit Fagos, the tone policing, the guilting me by saying that if I kept tweeting then Fagos might kill themselves and it'll be my fault. Yeah, she stood by all of that still. And I know that because that's what she told Ponder when she found out that Clan and I had asked her not to be present in the Fagos Senate call.
So her fucking apology was fake then. Lovely.
Yeah, remember how she said
Okay.
she heard about that and just naturally assumed that we must not want to be around her? Well, that didn't happen. Heaton immediately contested that request to Ponder, demanding to know why we were trying to go above her and just being exactly how I described her earlier. And that is what led to the third confrontation about her thread and what finally made her take down the entire thing and issue a public apology. So Heaton, how are you going to sit here?
I'm getting overstimulated. I don't like this music. This is making me mad. Hold on.
And say that I'm lying about your intent? Heaton, you're lying about your intent. Even when you speak your truth about what your intent apparently is, it's so easily disprovable because you would have to be a time traveler in order for it to even be possible. My truth and the truth about what you did and why you did it comes from your literal words that you speak and type. If you don't want to be painted as a monster, do not fucking act like a monster. Especially if you're going to then claim I'm lying when I go off about what you have said and your only alternative for your reasoning is either literally physically impossible or stupidly unbelievable. I'm gonna go ahead and move on.
My brain hurts. I don't know what to do.
Now and let a decent chunk of the document play as there's a lot that Heaton explains, so I'm just gonna let her do all of that before interjecting again.
In regards to the comments about tone policing, I've made it no secret that I don't like victory lapping, but I have to make clear why. I don't like the idea of dancing on someone's downfall publicly because I feel like it's disrespectful to the people.
Who gives a fuck? I don't like the idea of dancing on someone's downfall publicly because I feel like it's disrespectful to the people who are victimized. Julie was fucking victimized, you dumbass piece of shit, bro.
People who
Holy
are victimized
fuck.
and turn something very dangerous into entertainment.
How idiotic do you have to be like, it actually hurts the people who are victimized. The victimized are the ones fucking celebrating. What do you want about?
For bystanders.
Oh my god.
If Julie wanted to celebrate, they were more than allowed to. I just wouldn't have done it publicly.
Okay, that's a fucking opinion. Nobody gives a shit about your opinion. You're a raging bitch and nobody likes you. Sorry.
We're allowed to disagree,
But, like,
but I don't
holy
like
shit.
it. Never have. Didn't like it when people did it for me either, as a matter of fact. Knowing what I know now, I understand it. I personally wouldn't have done it, but condemning it publicly was not correct on my end as well. I also thought, and still think, that prodding at people who are unstable is dangerous. As someone who has not only been that unstable, but has been surrounded by the aftermath of that instability, I don't condone it. Not when Chuli does it, and not when Lio does it either. I've told the old man I'll never push those things, because I know that if something happens, the suffering that follows is on my hands, and I can't take that. Agree to disagree if you want, but having spent most of my life surrounded by the aftermath of suicides that have been both painful for the victim and the people around them at the time, I'm a little more cautious than most.
I fully respect that someone may have reasons for not personally wanting to do something or refusing to condone a type of behavior, but what confuses me is that that was never the issue here. No one had a problem with what Heaton personally refuses to do in her situations.
So funny for Heaton to constantly whine about tone policing while trying to tone police people victimized by Fagos. Didn't seem to feel that way during the Rosa call. Yeah.
I'm sure most people didn't give a shit. Where the issue lies is how you
Fucking
tried to control what I
stupid,
was allowed
bro.
to say to someone that abused me.
I have been around people and the aftermath of suicide, but I'm going to verbally harass an autistic woman in a call for 4 hours.
And how you did that. Like, it's interesting to me that you talk about how you think victory lapping.
So is harassment bad? Is victory lapping bad? Is being mean and lashing out at people bad, or is it not? Because he keeps saying, oh, this is bad, this is bad. I'm gonna do it anyways. Oh, guys, I didn't mean to do that. My mental health was bad. Shut the fuck up,
disrespectful
bro.
to victims, despite me
God.
being the youngest victim of hers. But forget to mention that the only way your standards would be applicable to me is if you didn't see me as a victim, which is exactly what happened. Also, to be frank, I have my own doubts about this whole paragraph. I'm not going to doubt your experiences, but I am going to doubt the stability and consistency of the morality you say stems from those experiences. Because you have allowed, endorsed, and even done everything that you're saying here is horrible and that you would never do. Yet it's clear to me that you
So fucking stupid, bro.
either intentionally are trying to categorize your actions as something else or are so biased that you can't even see what you're actually doing. Because I will say this right now. It is ridiculous to speak.
Poking unstable people is bad. Anyways, I'm gonna poke a fucking 14-year-old. I'm gonna poke Chuli. I'm gonna poke Rosa Ray Ramsey.
About
Like,
this
okay.
as though there was only one
Where
way
do your morals lie? Jesus.
in which the way you talk about someone online can turn the damage they did into entertainment and push them into a negative or potentially dangerous headspace. And you are too grown to be using personal trauma as a morality compass that everyone else needs to follow. Like, Heaton, you insinuated that me simply putting you on blast on Twitter in the mean way that I did was going to land you in the
I'm
hospital.
cracked.
So does that mean that no one is allowed to do Twitter callouts or even just directly call someone out in a mean way?
You called me out and it made me want to kill myself, and it's all your fault. You shouldn't call me out because I'm mentally ill. Nobody gives a shit. Call him out
If
anyways.
that's the case, then you're definitely in the hot seat, considering that's, you know, the reason why your channel ever got as big as it did. I also feel the need to point out the wild absurdity that Heaton is talking about how she's extra cautious not to do things that she thinks might put people over the edge because she just can't handle how it would feel if anyone was pushed over the edge, and how she hates victory lapping so much because it turns trauma and hurt into entertainment. all while modding for the Senate server. As in the server that recorded and published pieces of shit, and sometimes not, getting dunked on for other people to watch and listen to. With the owner even referring to those videos several times as drawing background.
This community has such a gross habit of virtue signaling while doing the same shit they're LARPing about. Like, I just can't take some of y'all seriously. Yeah.
Noise. Is that not literally
That's
turning
true.
others' trauma
It's
into
kind of funny, though. It's really funny.
And I'm not even saying
this is bad, but not when I do it. Like, okay.
that inherently needs to be a bad thing. I was legitimately helped by Lyle through the Senate server when he allowed me, Ponder, and Clown to jump Phagos when she tried to lie about us. That call was publicized, and I'm gonna be honest, was pretty goddamn entertaining, but it's still turning trauma into content for others to consume, is it not? You also state that you think prodding at unstable people is dangerous and that you would never do it, but again, your descriptions are too vague, because, like, realistically, what counts as prodding at people who are unstable? Because at face value, that certainly sounds like it can apply to some of the things that you have defended, like the Rosa call, and you know what, let's go further, because that also sounds very applicable to your videos, like this one. How are you going to say that you think prodding at emotionally unstable people and victory lapping on their excommunication
Good riddance. Victory lapping is bad. I wouldn't do it publicly. 1 fucking year ago.
is
Come
dangerous,
on.
and then make a video titled Good Riddance with a thumb.
You see, victory lapping is fine, but not when you do it to somebody that I personally like. What the fuck?
Looming over the cowering people you're ostracizing, wherein you continuously scream into your microphone about them, tout how they'll never be allowed back into the community, and even out new accounts.
Also, prodding at people is bad, but you
one of them
prodded
is
at me. Fuck off.
Makes an alt account because of course she does. She wants to take accountability after all. Keyblade then leaks his DMs with Susie to a private server. Tippy joins in on trying to paint her as two-faced. Of course. Tippy has another alt. If none of you can be adults willingly, fine. I will make you be an adult, and you will take the accountability in the way that you should be taking it, not the way you want to take it. No hiding, no running. You are done. Good riddance.
Good riddance.
So you're allowed to do all
bitch.
that and then defend yourself by being like, yeah, I just have the hot take that pedo enablers and shit stains don't deserve my civility. But I'm a piece of shit because I included crab emojis. Okay. Another huge reason as to why I'm bringing this up is that one of the people in the thumbnail, who is also the person whose new account she kept exposing, publicly expressed suicidal ideation prior to Heaton's video. And for that matter, everyone else's video.
Don't poke unstable people. That's bad, but I'm gonna poke the unstable person.
She was
because
condemned
I'm
and publicly
God.
chastised for doing that. And her ideation was never really even taken seriously or even acknowledged by Heaton from what I can tell, which is really weird for someone who cared so much about the mental health of a self-admitted sex offender and chronic liar.
Tippy then goes on to sad girl post on Twitter about how sad she is about the fact that she let a predator's dick rider share spaces with his victims.
That's even assuming that Heaton even believes in the person's ideation, because as far as I can tell, she has no problem outright denying the mental health of people she doesn't like. Do I now get to come on here and claim that you're a liar and faking your nervous breakdown because I don't like you, or worse, because you clarified your safety at a later point in time? You know, that thing that you did to Fran, who was a minor at the time?
God.
And again, none of this explains why you were so uniquely cruel to me for being a bad victim, because you weren't just condemning my behavior. You were being disgusting. The way that you talked about me, my pain, and my past is only the way that you talk about someone that
Also,
you
if
hate.
she had a
This is not
problem,
what
she
erring
could've
on the side of
fucking
caution and
discussed
being
it
more
in
cautious than
private
most
rather than being all like, oh, you shouldn't do that, blah, blah, blah. Like, shut the fuck
looks
up.
like
Nobody
Heaton.
cares.
People aren't generally
I'm pretty sure he didn't. Well, no, I'm not pretty sure. Never mind. I'm
mad
not
at
going
you
to say
because
what I
you
was
don't
going to
think
say.
awful people
I don't
deserve
know shit.
disabilities. They're mad at you because you're a giant, loud, obnoxious hypocrite. Heaton, you fucking suck, and I would be embarrassed to be anything like you. But you know what? I'm not going to come on here and say that you're...
Fran was a My Little Pony commentator. They had like the pink unicorn with pink... Wait, no. The body of the unicorn was blue, and they had pink hair. Like shortcut pink hair
bullshit in
and
terms of
shit.
saying that you think you care about the safety of others in that way. I'm not even going to say that you have to believe that other person's ideation, but I will ask that
They
you
were
put your money where
involved
your
with
mouth is
the
and either change your
Spockter
behavior
shit, I
to better
think.
align with what you say you give a fuck about, or change your outlook on things. Because right now your morals seem entirely conditional. And for someone who touts them as loud and with as much conviction as you, that pisses people off.
This year, several people reached out to me. Aaron Tempest, Lyle Convoy, and Ponder Sprocket all came to me and explained the details. Ponder especially. The two of us ended up having a very productive conversation where she explained to me the details of the situation that I had missed. For example, I didn't know that there were two different claimed victims of FEG. From what I'd seen, I thought they were the same person. At the time, I was going off of only Chuli's video, which, as everyone I spoke to agreed, did not convey the story well, which is why a newer video is currently in the works.
I'm going to try and go over this point and not get so fucking
I love how even the AI makes her sound mad. Or
angry
them
over what we're
sound
about to
mad.
discuss.
Sorry.
So Heaton here is trying to paint things as though my video was poorly done and poorly conveyed the story of my abuse with Phagos. So poorly, in fact, that it was easy to miss key details, like the fact that Phagos admitted to assaulting 2 girls, not just one, and that both had taken their own lives. So, okay. Let's go ahead and see how I conveyed those details in my original video, which is still public, to see if it would truly be understandable that Heaton missed that detail.
As I said, another allegation made in the doc, as well as the paceman later on, was one of Jay alleging that Phagos sexually assaulted her while making another girl, who we'll call A, watch after trapping them both in a room with them. A was said to have later committed suicide, and the paceman stipulates that Phagos was mentioned in the note, or at the very least the abuse was. Some may think that seems implausible because they think justice would have come of it, but I believe that's an ignorant view to take on the matter, as the sentencing rate for silence is extremely low in both the US and in Canada, where Phagos is from, made even worse by the fact that the victims, Jay and A were said to have been trans women who the law is already incredibly unkind to, and admitted to being drunk and not only locking both girls in the room with them and groping Jay, who was drunk and consent, while the other girl was sober and had to sit and watch, but they also admitted to keeping both girls silent on the matter.
No, Heaton. That detail was not poorly conveyed. You just fucking watched the video on mute with your eyes closed. This is not a valid point, this is not a valid excuse, and you and your friends are the only ones who somehow missed all the important details in my video.
I don't even see how you could criticize Chuli's video. I think it's, like, I didn't watch all of it. I'll fucking say that, right? But the bit I did see, it was pretty solid with that. Solid. What the fuck? What does that mean? Evidence was solid. I didn't take any fucking issue. It's just there to explain shit. How do you take issue with a video like that?
Got this detail right in his sick and twisted joke about Fagos lies at my expense and at my friend's expense. And you know why? Because it was clear as day in my video.
Oh yeah, Fagos, you know that Ponder won't out people all too well. Like, didn't you make up a story about you sexually assaulting 2 trans women, which pushed them into committing toaster and bath or something? And then Ponder, Dulu, Izzy Hazard, and a few other people just kept their mouths shut about it for the longest time? Yeah, that was a weird thing that happened.
And you know what? Can we go back to what you said the misunderstanding was back in December last year when Ponder and you talked?
She straight up didn't know that a part of the story was that Jess had also allegedly killed herself and that this was on us and had been weighing on us for years. She seemed legitimately surprised when I broke everything down and filled her in on the full context of what had been going on. According to her, she thought Jess had been arrested and that was it. And the only girl who killed herself was the one from the beginning, which
all of this fucking stemmed from the Fagos drama, which is crazy. It's crazy how, like, there's a domino effect in this fucking community. One person does one thing, then the other person reacts to that, and then somebody else starts beef with them because they react to that, or the other person, like, I don't like ACC.
So it went from
it's
that
so
you knew they were
fucking
two
weird.
victims, but only one killed themselves during the time of the accident.
It's just like one thing happens, and then there's like 50 different people fucking fighting with each other over the next like 5 years over it.
To now it's that you only thought there was one person the
situations.
entire time, and that the one person who was essayed was the same person that got arrested. Heaton. Come on. None of what Heaton says about her actions regarding my abuse story are honest. I believe that 100%. She either doesn't remember them genuinely or she's lying on purpose, both being very concerning. With that, I'd like to unpack some of your other lies about my video, like the gaslighting claim. Where the fuck did I ever gaslight Fagos in those screenshots? I can only imagine that the part she's referring to is this part where I show myself trying to explain to Fagos that it doesn't matter if she intends to manipulate my friend Clown or not, because at the end of the day, she tried to manipulate Clown surrounding a situation that had nothing to do with her. I even tried to tell her that a lot of manipulative people don't know that they're being manipulative and that I was just trying to give her the space to recognize her behavior for what it was and change it. And that's it.
How is that gaslighting? Heaton's fucking
That's what
stupid.
Heaton counts as gaslighting. I am not joking. I did not do anything else that could even be perceived as that. I did not grab 3 of my friends and tell them that I sexually assaulted 2 girls and gave a one-man show acting out the part of my own fucking victims, and then make those friends feel like shit for no longer being comfortable around me later down the line and accuse them of talking shit about me and hurting me when they believed that lie. That was Fagos. And I didn't jump onto Twitter and tell you, hey Heaton, you need to back the fuck off of Junkie. You're not a victim. You're an evil bitch who wants to take down Junkie, not help the people he's hurt. Your video about him sucks. You gaslit Junkie. Don't you know how emotionally
Thank you for the $2, Abby. GoatCatto grew me into watching them. Help me.
fragile he is, and you're putting him on blast.
You don't get any fucking help. Fuck off.
With thousands of people. If he kills himself, it's gonna be your fault. And then turn around years later when people call me out and say, I never defended Junkie. What are you talking about? Stop gaslighting me. No, Heaton. That's you. Now, for the talking shit thing that she loves to bring up, Heaton, she's talking about in 2021 when I vented to—
Who cares if somebody's talking shit? Genuinely. People will talk shit. Nobody gives a fuck. Move on. I don't care. You were talking shit about this person that I'm friends with. I don't care.
Kind about how uncomfortable I felt.
Who fucking cares? Everybody talks shit about everybody. That's just how it fucking goes.
Fagos with what I knew and how they were acting.
The horror.
Heaton, at the time that happened, I believed Fagos had sexually assaulted 2 trans girls, something that they regularly checked in on me with to make sure I wasn't saying anything. Of fucking course, I was going to confide with one of the only other people that knew about that situation to express how uncomfortable I was with it and how I was being villainized for that. Why are you more focused on me talking behind a sex offender's back as though that makes me some kind of hypocrite when it doesn't? Fagos explicitly lied about me.
Yeah, and also the fact that he's a alleged sex offender, that adds another fucking layer to it. Oh my god, you're talking shit about a fucking sex offender? Oh my god, you're the fucking devil. You're gonna make him kill himself. Okay.
And twisted facts to pit people against me when they went to other people.
Where
I
is
didn't
it?
do that.
I don't
so
see
again,
it.
why are you more upset about me talking behind a sex offender's back than the fact that I was having to deal with the sex offender in my friend group? Why the fuck do you care about how a sex offender feels about what I say?
Because she cares about the sex offender, okay? The sex offender was probably one of her fucking yes men.
About their acts of sexual misconduct, period.
Why do I keep saying her? Is it because in this thing it keeps saying her and shit like
Hello?
that?
Is anyone realizing how wildly inappropriate that
I'm
is?
not trying to like misgender, but I keep hearing her. So my brain's automatically just going her instead of them. Fuck me.
You're gonna say all this horrendous shit about my abuse, and then 2.5 years later when the fire is on your ass, you're gonna say, oh, well, it was all just a big misunderstanding, and then blame it on my video.
You know what's funny? What?
for not being well done? Seriously? No, Heaton. You said those things about me and pulled that interpretation from my video because you weren't paying attention, because you hated me and you weren't seeing the situation for what it was. So you know what? Way to go. In an attempt to use my original video as a scapegoat for why you were so misinformed on this situation, you outed yourself as a fucking idiot and made the truth of why your thread about me was so specific and dead set on making me look like a fucking demon that much more apparent. Congratulations.
I don't like this song. I don't like this song. Hold on. Hold on.
And no, there is not a new video in the works because my original video was bad.
Jara was harping on Chuli for being a minor and being quiet about Fegos' lies, but Fegos kept the fact Proctor held on to child porn for years.
Ooh. When Fegos revealed that she had lied about
skeletons in the fucking closet, bro. Crazy.
About everything for 2 years, it changed the hue of all the abuse and manipulation that she had put.
Don't do this thing. This is bad, but I'm also not going to report the thing that I'm doing that's also bad.
It is now
okay.
necessary and would do us well as the victims to elaborate on just how deep the events of her abuse went, because it would show how she was manipulating us, draining us, and trying to pit my friends against me for her own personal gain. For you and your friends, like Musha, to twist that into an excuse for why you were all so stupidly misinformed about my trauma is just disgusting.
So, when it was explained more clearly, I realized immediately I had done wrong and went to remedy the issue. Ponder proofread my public statement, and I took down the original thread at the request of her and everyone else involved.
As a grown fucking, like, person, though, I don't even understand why they made the thread in the first place. Like, are you fucking... Is there something wrong with you mentally? Well, actually, we can all answer that question ourselves, given Heaton as a person and what we know about them, but fuck me.
Girl, what the hell is going on here?
The whole reason it came to Lio was because Fegos was dumb enough to poke her head up and tell Lio.
You initially said that last year you sent me that private and public apology, which are dated as November and December of last year. However, now you're saying that Ponder proofread your statement, even though you say she only came to you this year. Heaton, you have the screenshots with the dates listed in them. You have the DMs of when the people confronted you about the issue. What the fuck are you doing? How are you expecting anyone to believe any of what you're saying when you can't even get the timeline straight with the proof you yourself are using? Now listen, I know that she's wrong about the timeline because I was there for all of it. All of it had to do with me and was directed at me. But other people don't know that. Why did you release this document with such blatant flaws?
As a matter of fact,
they fucking did it because they're trying to sweep. What the fuck am I even saying? Oh my god, they're trying to sweep. Hello? Oh, they're trying to, like... Okay. I need a fucking drink. I need Dr. Pepper. The reason why they're making all these flaws in their document is because, number one, they don't care. They just want to, like, hide shit they did and lie about it to make themselves seem better. That's basically it, okay?
The criticized line in the public apology about my mental state was Ponder's suggestion to make my actions clear.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't believe this. This doesn't sound like something Ponder would do. If this really did happen...
They also seem to have a history of being dishonest about shit they do and other people do, so
I would not condone that. I know that Ponder and I have different sensibilities and different boundaries, but still, I don't believe this bet. I asked her about this, and she said she doesn't remember ever saying that, and I'm gonna believe her over the woman who's taken every opportunity she has when talking about my abuse to lie. Moving on.
I've also been told that I defended Feghost, which also...
Yes, you fucking did. Oh my god. You're like, the blood of Feghost is gonna be on your hands, Julie, because you're doing a victory lap about your abuser leaving the platform, and she's mentally unstable and blah blah. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Never happened. Even in the original...
But I'm not defending Feghost, by the way. I'm totally not fucking defending Feghost. Like, yeah, sure, buddy, sure. Take issue with the victim rather than taking issue with Feghost.
Thread,
sure.
I said that what she had done was unhinged and terrible. I've never said otherwise, and I do not know where the claim that I said otherwise is coming from.
You never defended...
It's your fucking actions,
Feghost,
dude.
Are you fucking kidding me? Heaton, you were a full-on abuse apologist in your original thread. You denounced my video, said that I wasn't a victim of Feghost, said that I gaslit her into thinking she was a bad person, described her as mentally ill and emotionally fragile while calling me a manipulative, spiteful bitch that was playing weeping tragic victim, brought up a mistake I made as a 15-year-old to paint me as having always been a bitch for a long time, said you felt bad for Feghost, likened me to Rachel Mills, a serial abuser and sex pest, spread their narrative uncritically and told me that bullying them off of their platforms was just as bad as me being stalked as a minor so that I kept silent about SA. And now you want to say that you
Heaton's fucking retarded.
Never defended Feghost and have no idea where that claim is coming from? This is why I don't buy your apologies. You refuse to be honest about what you did, and it makes it seem as though every apology you give, you have no idea what the hell you're actually meant to be apologizing for. Even though I literally unblocked you when I called you out in April and put all of your transgressions against me on blast, publicly. You have no excuse. And then you want to be like, oh, well, in my initial thread I said that what she had done was bad. Like, oh, what? So now you can reference specific things you said in your thread? Now when you think you can use it to defend yourself? But now when it comes to being specific about the myriad of ways in which you were disgusting and lied about me, I don't care if it would have made your apology too long. Because it just goes to show how much you treated me like shit. And guess whose fault that is? It is absolutely ridiculously revealing to me that ever since you made your thread, you have been incredibly vague about the things you said, and have only gone into specifics when you're defending personal stances or trying to pretend that you actually did see how awful Feghost was. The one time you condemned Feghost at all in that thread was at the very end for one sentence in an addendum that you added after the fact. You can yap all you want, your actions still revealed your true feelings.
I also didn't speak about Chuli.
Listen, you can type up a bunch of bullshit and lie very easily, like a very easy fucking thing to do, right? But like she just said, your actions actually show more than your words do. That's why I don't usually accept apologies from people. I'd rather see them improve on their own than just be like, oh, this person wrote a Google document apologizing. That means they're genuine. Like, no.
In 2022 because of an argument in a Discord server about a YouTuber drama from 2019. Anyone who has been around me or my content knows that these are values I've always held regarding anyone. I didn't like Jar victory lapping on my behalf regarding Junkie or Spocter. I don't like the comments about pushing someone unstable from Lyo. These are not things exclusive to Chuli and never have been.
Can we see how you reacted on Twitter or in your videos to Jar and Lyo doing that? Because the only time you have ever publicly talked about either of them doing that from what I can find is this tweet about Jar. I want everyone to look at these two reactions and
hey, for the second fucking time, because some people didn't listen, stop coming to me about Junkie. I don't care what Jar, Spocter, or anyone says. I don't give a shit. I'm not following it. I'm trying to leave it. Unlike some people, I'm not interested in a victory lap. Stop. I'm not comfortable saying nothing. Dulu's video is bad. The constant claims of manipulation while actively showing them gaslighting him into believing he was a worse person than he was is vile and disgusting. You're a fucking idiot.
see if they can find any differences in how she reacts.
Aw, poor little fucking Favos, the little victim of Chuli. Like, shut the fuck up. Watching them actively cheer on the downfall of someone they admitted to knowing was emotionally fragile and going into the comments of telling his side of what admittedly interpersonal trauma they instigated and telling him to disappear is reckless at best. Mentally ill or not, if you do stupid shit, people are gonna celebrate your fucking downfall. Boo fucking who.
Reacted to Jar versus how she reacted to me. You cannot talk about me how you did, make me the villain of the entire situation, deny my victimhood, and say you feel bad for everyone involved except me, and act like this wasn't personal. It was. You made that so fucking clear. You felt bad for the self-admitted sex offender and chronic liar, no questions, because they have mental health issues, but not me, because I guess I posted too many crabs on Twitter. And I said that you made it that way because of the hatred you had for me because of that argument in 2019, because it was the first thing you immediately brought up and lied about me with in an attempt to justify why we no longer spoke to each other. So yes, maybe the actions you say you didn't like were not exclusive to me, but the way you talked about me and the morals you pushed onto me absolutely were. And I am so tired of you acting like that whole thread wasn't you acting out your grudge and hatred on me now that you're getting flamed. I don't know what to tell you. You showed your ass in this situation and yet you still want to act so flabbergasted on where people are getting this from.
I've said time and time and time again that I'm a flawed individual and I know where my weaknesses lie. It's
thank you for the 5. GoatCatto, I'm sorry for asking you to send me pics of your digits in mustard. I promise I won't do it again. What?
I always consider myself—
My digits in mustard. I'm scared. But thanks. That's amazing.
Open to criticism.
Do you still want the pictures though?
One of those is an issue with impulsivity that I have been actively trying to curb. I did so by taking my time to have everything in order before I responded to everything.
Is that what you call this document? This document is you having everything in order. Seriously.
Unfortunately, bad actors continue to try and gaslight me into believing I said things I never said or ascribe intent to me that I never had. But also, unfortunately, there's not a lot of veil when it comes to me. I'm a direct and honest person, so you can usually assume what I said is what I meant, good or bad.
You are
no,
not
you aren't,
honest.
Keaton. No, you are not. You have lied so much about me in just this document alone. Never mind the multitude of times you have since the beginning. You have been proven to not be truthful with how you talk about me and your involvement in what I've been through.
I am the most honest person. I told my wife Melania that nobody knows just how fucking honest I am. No, you're a piece of shit, you're a snake, you're a liar, and you're a fucking victim blamer and a gaslighter. You know, like, I never said that. Where are you guys getting these accusations from me being an asshole?
And a reckless disregard. It's fucked up, and I'm tired of it. And I'm tired of you. You want to end off this shitfest of a document by being like, you can really just assume what I mean most of the time because I'm just so honest. When everything I've said about your intent and actions is based on words that you've said. But instead of just apologizing for those things, you're lying about the timeline of events and how you acted in them. Telling people that I'm a bad actor, that I'm lying about your intent and painting you as a monster. I have not lied about your intent and painted you as a monster like you have done so to me. The only person that has lied about me and painted me as a monster and tried to pit my friends against me like you is Figos, okay? So how dare you be like, oh, I'm just too honest, it's a fault. Fucking act like it.
I absolutely refuse to have people tell me that I am something I am not ever again, but I am also willing to admit that I haven't been an angel. I never pretended I was. That's that on that, I guess.
You're fucking vile. Like, I think you're a malicious person deep down. Like, sure, you might have your commentary wins or whatever the fuck, but I feel like you use commentary and the community you're involved in and the fucking spurgs or whatever you want to call them. I don't know the proper term, whatever. A lot of people call people spurgs. I don't really remember what that actually means anyways, whatever. You basically fight with people to take out your own anger and insecurities on, which is really funny. And then you're like, I'm just really direct and honest. I'm not a victim blamer. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. You just want to be whatever. I don't care. I don't care. I don't like you.
You need to never do this again. I legitimately don't understand how someone can act like you. You see, despite the fun I had on Twitter finally getting to put Heaton on blast for all of her bullshit, Figos' abuse of me and my friends and the shit that you did to me is pretty painful to talk about. And it's certainly not fair for me to have to come on here and talk about it because you refuse to tell the truth. Yes, you're allowed to respond to the allegations I put forth against you, but when you do nothing but lie about my abuse in that response and deflect and put blame onto me, it's totally reasonable for me to say that's enough. Because you refuse to come out here and just admit to and own up to not only
I'm just gonna say that I don't think they are genuinely apologetic for anything they did to Chuli. They only apologize, well, obviously this is fucking known, they only apologize because they got backlash for what they fucking did, which is hilarious. They're just all like, well, I took my original thread down and blah, 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 blah. I don't stand by what I said anymore, so why are you guys coming at me about it? Because you are a grown-ass adult victim blaming someone. Why the fuck is their funk playing in the background? Get the fuck out. No. Anyways. Okay, scary
role
one.
In doing the
You're a grown-ass adult victim blaming somebody who was fucking abused by a sex pest or a sexual offender, whatever you want to call them, right? Somebody who's lied to when they were 15, emotionally abused, gaslit, along with their other friends by that person. You're gonna sit there and fucking blame them as a grown adult, by the way, and try to insinuate that the offender is actually the victim, the abuser is actually the victim, and Chuli is an asshole for poking and prodding a poor little mentally unstable sex offender. Oh, boo fucking who. But then when you get rightfully called out for it, I disavow. I fucking disavow, okay? I don't stand by it anymore. You probably do. You just don't want to get flack for it.
Things that you've done, but lying about your involvement in them and causing people to say disgusting things about me.
The fucking dishonesty with it all too, trying to act like they didn't do or say certain shit and all that other bullshit.
Over your lies, then yeah, I have the full right to say that I don't want you talking about this anymore. And I'm glad that you've been sticking to that. And I hope it stays that way after this video comes out, because Lord knows I'm tired of you and I'm tired of your friends. That's why I don't want an apology. But God save your soul, you better fucking remember how to give one if you ever think about crossing a bitch like me again. I do not want to hear a single peep out of you. Especially because your document had the same effect that your original thread did in 2021, where now people are acting like I'm just a crazy bitch for still being mad at you and calling you out. Going as far as to speculate that I must be letting paranoia from Fagos abuse take control of me, and that's why I'm acting up. Some people from the Cat Slayer...
What?
And back when it was the Senate and another server known as the Supreme Court in particular have said things.
Also, I'm not gonna lie, it's like 12 a.m. After this video, I'm gonna end stream. We'll get back into it like
that are remarkably similar to things you said about me and caused others to say.
I'll probably have to do like multiple parts to this whole ACC lore
about me
learning
in
thing.
2021. Like the idea that I'm just obsessed with being right, obsessed with Heaton, wondering and puzzling why I'm so concerned about the situation and arguing what Heaton says about it. Gee, I don't fucking know, guys. Maybe because Heaton has used every time she's talked about my abuse to lie. Maybe if you guys would empathize with me for half a second, you might understand that I would want to fight back against that. And as for the complaint that I'm being too mean and spiteful towards Heaton, I'm sorry, did we all forget who we're talking about?
You are going to die! I am going to kill you! I spend the rest of my life trying to...
What the fuck is going on?
Unlike you swooning prima donna wannabes, you can shove it up your fat ass for all I care. You are low-life, backstabbing scum at best, and duplicitous, manipulative dangers at your worst. The only thing I didn't do was reopen my DMs with the scaly lizard fucker who hurt me. You are bumbling, simpering weaklings. Shut the fuck up.
This is corny.
Good God. Spoilers, if you weren't a fucking scumbag in private, we wouldn't make these things community issues.
I don't want your disingenuous, half-hearted, slimy, bitch boy apology.
I don't want...
So something you did? Something you did?
Your disingenuous, slimy, bitch boy apology, there's Spock. My legionnaires
Oh my god.
have said multiple times they like my more harsh, aggressive tone. Fuck off, junkie. Go fuck yourself, goodbye. God forbid I say mean words about someone who tried to ruin my fucking life. Get the fuck out.
Wow. God forbid Chuli do the same.
Out of here. I will make you be.
And God forbid Chuli speak up about you of all people. Regardless of what you did in the past as a full-grown adult, I think Chuli has the right to still hold you accountable, especially since you have a history of being disingenuous with the apologies and the other bullshit that you fucking do and say.
Take the accountability in the way that you should be taking it, not the way you want to take it. No hiding, no running, you are done.
Don't hide, don't run, you're done. Heaton does the same bullshit.
Good riddance. I point this out, and Tippy tries to shout me down, which is a losing battle 100 times out of 100. I am always going to be louder than you.
I think that most, if not all, of the people complaining about my attitude in this mess are just mad that I knocked Heaton down with the energy she carries for everyone she goes after. Honest to God, all I can say is sucks to suck. Sorry I outscreamed your scream queen. You know, I could have gone harder in this video. I really feel like if I talked about Heaton in this video the way she talked about everyone else, there probably would have been riots in the SCC streets. I've already gotten on the bad side of these Discord servers as showcased, and pretty much all of Heaton's friends blocked me. Fuck, half the SCC blocked me, which is wild.
So basically his fucking, So basically Heaton's yes men blocked you?
Considering none of them did that shit when she acted how
Surprising? No.
Did towards me. Probably.
I don't know how anybody even sweeps for Heaton unless they're being like emotionally manipulated or fucking gaslit by her.
Because a lot of them agreed with her. Why? No idea. Maybe I should try being a fucking white girl instead. Maybe that would help. Because I've been meaning to point out for a while that I find it really funny that my melanated ass is one of the only people in this pasty corner of the internet that ever has to deal with civility politics. I've known for a while that these communities have had some weird race issues, but after I called out a white creator right before Heaton for banning even the mildest of pro-Palestine activism from his stream and complaining about it, I got jumped by several white creators in both public and private and was politely explained to that these creators had the right to ban anti-genocide statements from their platforms because they'd rather not think about it. Yeah, I wonder if those same people have any kind of problem with someone who looks like me being abrasive and not catering to all of this nonsense. I don't even have to wonder that much because people in the Cat Slayer have already stated that me bringing up—
Sorry, but I'm gonna need people, especially Omnia, Truly, and Zay, literally grouped with a domestic abuser because of my skin color. One, stop acting like they're the only ones who had traumatic experiences, especially in the POC community. The old time saying, think before you speak, in this case, type, post, tweet, etc. So show some goddamn fucking empathy.
My traumatic past is me pretending that I'm the only one with trauma, especially in the POC community. Whatever the fuck
POC community is fucking
that
crazy.
is everything over these past few years has just proven to me that I should have never gotten involved with this corner of the internet. And I honestly just feel sorry for my younger self that I ever had the misfortune of getting tangled up with a group of people so callous and unempathetic towards me that they treated me like absolute shit during my most vulnerable time and continue to try and gaslight me.
Yeah, that's ACC for you.
For being hurt like I have. I also need to reiterate strongly here that while I am the youngest victim of Phagos, as far as we know, I am not the only victim. And I'm offering Clown Teeth a spot to speak their truth on the situation and how the community, how Heaton, ruined so much for us with how horrible they were. I also offered a feature to Ponder's Rocket, one of the only other victims that we know of, for her to do the same, but she refused at this time, citing that she is afraid of her upset and feelings being flipped to use against her in the future. And given how I've seen that very thing happen, I don't hold it against her. This entire mess has left Ponder with a ton of trust issues that simultaneously leave her not wanting to believe people.
More SCC than ACT. Honestly, like, I know they're different, but in my mind, they kind of just... I don't know, I see them as the same. I mean, it can definitely be alright to not want to get into politics or child murder, especially when you're gaming, but just say, yeah, fuck Israel and move on. Yeah, pretty much.
But also trying not to assume the worst. She's working past it at her own pace, but given the magnitude of everything, it's a little bit more difficult than one might imagine. With that out of the way, here is Clown Teeth.
Hello. So I'm just going to keep things brief in my statement and go over the things that are relevant to me only. My opinion on Heaton is very similar to Chuli's for obvious reasons. Frankly, I have been very angry and upset with her since her initial thread. I'm going to try to keep myself calm as I explain my viewpoints on this woman's deplorable actions. Starting off with the initial parts of the thread where I am mentioned. She says verbatim that this was my story to tell. Chuli doesn't get to play the tragic weeping victim for supporting me going through a hard time, then says she feels bad for me and Phagos. First of all, while it is true I faced the brunt of Phagos' manipulation and wrath, you want to guess what most of those conversations were usually about? When Chuli set a boundary Phagos couldn't violate, she ran to me to make my life hell because she couldn't get the closure she demanded. She would go off about how Chuli was shit-talking when she wasn't, and how her actions of confiding in me about her being a possible sex offender was going too far. Hell, I even remember a call I had with her where she demanded I say either yes or no when asking if Chuli's—
Even regardless of, like, how much of a victim Chuli is or was, she's still a fucking victim at the end of the day, so who cares?
actions were out of pocket.
If she talks about her experience or fucking victimizes herself when she is a victim.
So no, Heaton, it wasn't just my story. So how dare you say that Chuli isn't a victim?
And the whole, oh, it wasn't your story to tell. Like, bitch,
and
did
put me
you
on top
even
of the mouth.
watch the fucking video? Did you watch anything?
And the shit you threw at her. I don't know if it was because—
I didn't even watch the full fucking, like, Phagos video, but I could still tell that Chuli was definitely a victim. But, oh no. Fucking Heaton loves Phagos or some bullshit.
I had no qualms with
her
or anyone else who was spewing such disgusting shit, but it shouldn't fucking matter, and I cannot believe this has to be said. Why were you so determined to protect a chronic liar's mental health? Which, speaking of that, please, for the love of God, stop insinuating I need to cater to Phagos' mental health. I do not care what she does. I do not care about anything she wants. Look what happened when I did care for her. I was strung along like a puppet and was manipulated when she wasn't getting what she wanted, all the while lying about everything just to fuck with my emotions for her own sick reasons. She never cared for me. Not a single moment do I believe she saw me as a friend. Just someone she could mess with. I don't need your moral grandstanding on what you think is right or wrong and calling out abusive people. Please shut up. What made this even more frustrating is I had people who were so supportive of my art and praised me after this whole shit show went down, only to find out they like—
Also, my question is has Heaton, like, ever criticized Phagos publicly, or has she— have they? Dude, I'm tired. I'm sorry. Or have they only criticized the fucking victims?
supported
Because so far I haven't seen any criticism of
This thread.
Vegas,
This is
which
just to set the record.
Stupid. I'm getting
Right,
tired.
but
Fuck.
do you all think I wouldn't know that I wouldn't be uncomfortable with being praised while my best friend was completely shut down and shamed? Am I living in the Twilight Zone? Because that's what it felt like. To express the emotions I was going through, I was constantly questioning my own victimhood. It felt like I was getting put on a pedestal that I didn't want, and the severity of what Fagos did to us was not being taken seriously. I was in a state of disbelief that only grew after she posted her Spectre video. I was anxious all the time. I had constant headaches, just in a state of doubting myself and just shitting on myself for not doing enough. All the while I had to sit in silence while Heaton was praised, protected, and had her voice elevated. I didn't feel like I could call Fagos my abuser, that I didn't have the right to even use a term that heavy. And I felt guilty. I just felt guilty that my friend was being painted as this horrible person. Well, I just got the opposite reaction. I was angry, and I'm still angry. If I had trust issues then, they would have skyrocketed even more after all these horrible years. What's even crazier is that this isn't the only time Heaton has mentioned me or said things to me. On April 7th, 2023, I posted a video called My 2017 Trauma, which was basically me coming out about what had happened behind the scenes during my drama after Lyle Convoy posted a video regarding people from my past. In that video, I shared a lot of the dark and traumatic things that a lot of people didn't know about since it was mostly offline. It was very hard for me to come out about, but I knew I had to because it was the first time in years where I felt I wasn't crazy. Heaton, I guess, because she played an integral part in my drama, commented on my video saying following: "I'm glad you're out of that situation. You have become a better and stronger person. Where your pain manifested doesn't matter. It's still valid. I'm glad you're free and safe. Wish you nothing but healing and happiness." I have never deleted a comment so fast. Her thread was up for 2 years at this point. She still stood by it.
Girl.
She just sent this with such compassion that I was just horrified. It's terrifying how impulsive
she's fake.
She is with her anger.
She's
how
fake.
she could go off about Truly.
Yeah, impulsive with her anger. No shit, dude. I got to witness that firsthand.
She wasn't just being harsh.
What the fuck do you think you're doing in my DMs? Okay, get off the fucking pills.
She was being genuinely disgusting.
Oh my God.
Then comes to me all super kind, like, how can you be so kind to me when you knew damn well you shamed my friend and stood up for my abuser? This was proof to me that she was just completely dishonest. It felt like a slap in the face. Oh,
she is, they are dishonest.
Drama you went through? Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm genuinely not trying to misgender them. It's just like I said, her. And so my brain keeps fucking coming up with sentences with her in them.
She was nothing but happiness. But this other one? Nah, your friend was...
I think Heaton does need to get on lithium, I will say.
Actually the manipulative one.
Bipolar.
I feel bad for you and your...
As a bipolar. Hey, get off my leg. Cat, stop. My cat's being grumpy and attacking me and my feet and shit because she's a little hoe.
Your abuser. Like, what on earth? If I had to be honest, and this is just my opinion, so take this with a massive grain of salt. Heaton's whole I'll scream louder persona is a red flag to me. Especially since this isn't who she actually is. When that same energy was brought onto her with hard truths and evidence, she crumbled, saying, "I'll be lucky if I don't end up in the hospital. Take your W, I guess," which was just so passive-aggressive.
So okay, we're almost done with the video, I guess. Basically, Heaton's a fucking hypocrite, a liar, a snake, a victim blamer. It doesn't, I'm fucking tired. Dishonest person who doesn't need a platform, and the fact that they're trying to get into VTubing currently is fucking laughable. I don't understand how they can bully other people and then cry when they get a little bit of heat handed back to them. Wow. Wow. Didn't we know this already? Yeah. Whoa.
I think the reason I'm so put off
Amazing.
by this persona she has is that I grew up in an environment with a parental figure who would scream over me if I dare try to call out the negative things they did to me. I was screamed at, talked over, shut down, and made to feel like I was the one at fault for being upset. So when I see a person like her with an audience that gets hyped for her to yell at people, it's just gross to me. This is not something to be proud of. In my opinion, I think she
doesn't even have they don't even have a good yelling voice.
Needs to realize this angry energy isn't healthy, or just stop entirely. She pointed it at the wrong person and made a complete ass out of herself as a result. Heaton was totally fine with defending insults against a neurodivergent woman during the Rosa call. She was okay with bullying someone because she didn't like them and it was under the notion that they did something terrible. Rosa is no saint, mind you, but no one deserves to go through that. Compare that to this situation where she held onto a grudge with a then 16-year-old Chuli over a situation she escalated, but regardless, she thought Chuli did something awful. She held onto that.
She didn't fucking quit that behavior. Bitch brought up our drama like 2 years after it happened. This isn't
For
surprising
years,
at
to the
all.
point she was...
But it is disappointing to learn about Heaton's past and realize that no, they never fucking changed at all.
Willing to defend their abuser over them. Her bias harms people. She needs to stop. And finally, just to get this out of the way, Barnaby Musha is a cowardly loser. I responded to his recent thread where he was calling Chuli's tweets showing Heaton's disgusting actions with evidence as a social media meltdown, while also vaguely wishing bad things to happen to them. You know, the most totally normal thing to say. I was very not happy, so I quoted him, calling him out on the shit he did, and he responded to me. Won't lie, there were parts that messed with my head. Anxiety sucks. I wasn't able to save the response because he locked his account because people chewed him out for how fucking insane he was being. The main part...
At this point, I'm just gonna keep repeating myself.
...that are important are claiming he removed the segment in the video I brought attention to due to wanting to stand by his morals. He thinks I would know this? And even if it was removed, you never apologize and you're still vilifying Chuli, so what the fuck? Your morals are just non-existent, so stop clenching for them. He talked like he was playing 4D chess by not bringing up key details, then proceeded to say, "Clown, you're smarter than this," before giving me grief about showing the same aggression he had issues with, ending it with him saying that he and the other victims of Ray Kohai didn't appreciate me dragging her name into this. my brother in Christ. You started this shit. You mentioned Chuli in your Ray video. You compared Chuli to Ray in your thread. How the hell is that my fault? You want to paint me as some stupid idiot for being angry, but at least I'm not the degenerate who compared a victim to not one, but 3 serial abusers, which included V Omega. Even when people called you out, you tried to say, well, I compared them because they were all letdowns. Yeah, letdowns because they ended up being sex pest abusers, my dude. Just stay gone. You are just a vile human being. I fully respect that Heaton is not going to watch this video. I was in her position many years ago. Even though I made the choice to watch the videos made on me,
And I think she's in. Fuck. Okay. I'm gonna just have to pause. What the fuck is this music? What am I listening to? Fingers. Fat Fingers, 30 days, 30 seconds, 30 songs. Oh, wait, no, 30 days, 30 songs. What the fuck? Anyway, I forgot what I was gonna say. I don't care anymore.
Left me even more traumatized, so I understand her stance.
Stop
completely.
My
All I
foot,
want
you
is
freak.
that she never talks about the Fago stuff ever again. Not even retweets or shoutouts, just silence. I don't want her talking about Chuli ever again as well. I just want her, as Chuli said years ago, to stay in her lane. I don't want her support. I don't even feel comfortable being in any space with her present, period now. Even members of the Senate victim shame Chuli once her tweets got traction because Heaton is oh so loved. Before anyone says anything, no, I'm not blaming Lyle for this at all. He's not responsible for watching every Discord user in his server.
How do you even like Heaton to begin with? I find them annoying and fucking aggravating. I don't understand how they have fans.
Like a hawk. That would be insanely unreasonable. For the sake of my own mental health, I just need to be away from these spaces and just the community at large. Especially since people in the Supreme Court, God, these fucking names, were trying to paint Chuli and me as mentally unwell for calling this out. It hit me a bit harder personally. Like, I can laugh off the pain, but there's just a part of me who felt genuinely hurt by the fact people think me standing alongside my best friend is
By the way, I'm not saying blah 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 about what this person is saying. I'm just fucking
me going through paranoia as a result of Fagos abuse. Jesus Christ. I stated in the past
give me the
I didn't want anything to do with this community anymore, and the main reason I orbited was because of fucking Fagos, because she can never leave us the fuck alone. I stand by Chuli and will continue to. Not just because I'm also a victim of Fagos, but this whole thing was a complete injustice and deserves to be publicly known. This isn't just some petty squabble that can be resolved in a private call. This is a person who is a walking hypocrite and vile enough to victim shame a person over petty reasons. I hope to God that people understand us and that the truth is out there, because I would very much like to feel some sort of normalcy in my life again. I will talk about Fagos again in greater detail in the future, but for now, all I can say is this. Chuli has been there for me since 2017. She has helped me during my darkest times and helped me gain the confidence to stand up for myself after dealing with so many awful people in my life. I think the least I can do is return the favor and support her through this. Please support Chuli. She has faced so many horrible things being said towards her and that she did not deserve. She faced so many terrible people trying to strip away her victimhood. I'm frankly sickened by it. All of this disgusting shit over 2 tweets telling her abuser to fuck off. Heaton and everyone else should feel genuinely ashamed of themselves. Heaton, I hope to God you learned a hard lesson after this. I never want to see you ever again.
I don't think they did. What's in the outro? Oh, God. Okay.
They try to bring up the effect that Fagos abuse and lies had on me as a way to explain why I'm being so crazy and unreasonable, because they really did have an effect on me. I know this isn't something I should really entertain because the sentiment is pretty gross, but I know there are some people out there who don't think that the situation, when put on paper, sounds super damaging. Like, they don't hear the situation and think of it as something abusive that causes trauma, especially because, like, it's the internet and that whole thing of things online being taken less seriously. And you know what? Maybe to certain people, the situation would not have been traumatic or abusive and things would have been caught and ended a lot sooner, but I'm going to give some extra context to explain why that definitely was not the case for me. Many of you know that I started my channel when I was young. I was 14 when I started making videos, and in that time, from when I was 14 till I became an adult, my time online was littered with adult men having sexual conversations with me, sending me porn, joking with me about sexual topics and their sexual preferences, and even sexually harassing me and degrading me in front of others, all within knowledge.
Yeah, we're gonna get into the Caden stuff next stream, which is who she's
Of
talking about.
How young I was. A lot of this I excused mentally, even though I wasn't comfortable, because they were either gay men, so I didn't feel like I had a valid threat to speak up on because they weren't technically attracted to me, or because it was delivered in the form of memes and jokes. I've made vague mention of the sexual harassment I experienced on a couple of occasions, including my original Fagos video, as well as I believe the Fagos Senate call, and I know I specifically called out one creator who harassed me in front of others. But believe me when I say that there's a lot more that I haven't talked about. Many of you may know of a creator by the name of V0B0T, who, if you don't know, groomed minors and even sexually assaulted someone. When I was 15, V, who was 19 at the time, on multiple—
Girl, I swear to God. Come here. No, okay. As soon as I get up, you run off, bro. Evil fuck. Ah, okay. I didn't realize what I was fucking.
Sent me very explicit porn feature.
Okay,
one of those drawings he sent me 4 times in one day to update me on the progress of it. And on that day, I
awesome.
even got into a conversation with him about sexual preferences and innocently remarked how all of my friends in the SCC had a specific preference, except for one man.
I genuinely didn't fucking know that I paused on that. I'm sorry, okay?
That man being Caden, who is known online as Caden Monroe, and he was 27 at the time. You might notice that it's a little weird that a 15-year-old would know the sexual preferences of a 27-year-old man, and that's because it is, and bad stuff was indeed happening behind the scenes. But I'm just gonna lay it straight. When I was 14, 15, I was essentially groomed by several adult men in the SCC/adjacent into entertaining their sexualities, which we can see happening in my DMs with V0B0T, where I was basically taught that being sent porn and having sexual conversations with adult men was normal. I'm not saying it was a coordinated effort necessarily, but it was more than one man. It was several men.
Genuinely, how fucking hard is it for adults to just keep sexual conversations with adults? And not minors. Like, why do you see a 15-year-old and be like, I should talk to this kid about strap-ons. I'm gonna talk to this kid about dom and subbing. I'm gonna talk to this kid about BDSM gear. Like, dude, why?
and I entertained them when I was 15 as I was taught to. That is until I was about halfway through 16 and I stopped and started pushing back. Now, I haven't been friends with Caden or been close to him in any regard for a while now, and for a long time I just had vague negative feelings about him with no true understanding of why. And that little mention of him in these DMs was my only breadcrumb, but nothing beyond that. That is until I searched through my DMs with a friend who I vented to a lot back in the day, and I found instances back in 2019 when I detailed a list of times I was sexually harassed by Caden, wherein the gist is basically that he would push sexual boundaries, often under the guise of comedy, either by comments directly crudely sexualizing me, or by posting and saying very inappropriate, often explicit things in front of me. One of these instances happened publicly on a friend's live stream, who I don't blame because they were extremely high at the time and were barely listening. I have the audio from that incident, but I don't want to post it because I would be so uncomfortable with that being public because it's so humiliating and demoralizing. But just know that in every instance, I would ask him, beg him to stop, and to him it meant keep going, and try to justify why it was okay for him to do that. And the one time he did stop is because
Goda just got an ad and the first words were, "I am 15. Great
their adult
stuff,
witnessing
dude.
what was happening.
They can tell what you're watching,
They
dude. They know what you're watching.
But that didn't stop him from repeating the incident again when they weren't around. Now, evidently, I knew how to stand up for myself in the moment, but I didn't know how to ask for support or coordinate a confrontation at the time. When I basically rediscovered all of these locked memories in the middle of writing this script, I had a really bad few weeks, to say the least, and it's a big reason why this video is coming out as late as it is. I told my friends what happened, including the one who shut Caden down initially, and they helped me set up a confrontation with him. In that call, I even played the audio to him of when he did harass me on the stream, and he did profusely apologize for what he had done, and he did do what I asked of him, which was to take a break from his platform for a couple of weeks while he reflected on the knowledge of his actions. He knows that I'm talking about this publicly, and I expect him to address it publicly in his own words as well. Originally, I was going to say something here about how I'm not personally coming forward with this information because I want to destroy Caden's career and whatever he's doing online, but I realized it shouldn't matter. I should be able to come forward about this for whatever reason I want. I don't want what happened to me as a minor in these communities to be a dirty little secret. And just like with Faghost, I don't—
Well, exactly. You can't just like let them sweep that shit under the rug and get away with it. If somebody's behaving in a predatory way or a sexually explicit way towards a child, deserves to be, you know,
it's fair to make a
reported
victim
about.
cater to the person who victimized them just because the victimizer is afraid of consequences. Hello. So I need to put a little addendum here that I did not plan on doing prior to like a week before this video goes out. So recently I was contacted by Laka Moka Laka about the Omega, and I shared with him all of the DMs and testimony I could of me being expressly inappropriate with me while I was a minor, including the screen.
What did I tell y'all? Y'all are evil. Are you evil? Okay. Oh shit, I almost fell. Okay. I'm gonna put some fucking music on, okay? I need to feed my cats because they're fat whores who love food. I'll be right back. Oh my god. Oh my god. Wow.
From the graveyard keeps murmuring death. Too much time hobbles thoughts and heads. No one compelled to kill.
What the fuck is this song? This is ass. Listen to this, okay?
When you're
fuck me. Okay, okay, clips, what the fuck is happening? Hello? 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 Okay. Clips, hello? Okay, clips, hello? Hello? Okay. Let me see, 1 second. Oh wait, wrong thing. Hello? 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 Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, bruh. Okay, clips. Wow. Okay. Why are there so many? As soon as I get up, you run off, bro. Evil fuck. Ah, okay, I didn't realize. Okay, great. Fucking hell. What's the, just that one? I got pinged. Whoa. Dude. So someone named Cash made this. This is pretty. I like it. I like that a lot. Very cool. Okay. Back to the fucking video. Back to the video. We have like a little bit left and then we're
Screenshot where I
done.
mentioned Caden. I told him he was allowed to share all of the screenshots and testimony except for the one that mentioned Caden because I wanted to be the one to tell that story to the public. And he agreed and respected that. And Laka, thank you so much for doing that because as you know, and as everyone is about to find out, that was not a privilege I had before. You see, the reason why Laka even knew that I was victimized by BI0B0T at all is because that information was shared in a video by Bummer Patrol, also known as Dollsnick, back in 2021. The information in the screenshot...
It's always furry porn that people get groomed with. Why can't it just be normal shit, bro? Why is it always furries? Like, genuinely. What the fuck is so hot about, like, furries in general? This furry has a big old fucking red rocket cock. Oh my god. Those fucking furry titties are bouncing. Oh, do you think their nipples have fur on them? Like,
included in that.
Why can't people get groomed normally? Listen. Not what I'm trying to say. But why is it always the furries? Why is it always the fucking furries, bro? It's like, holy
was
shit,
published
dude.
without my consent or even knowledge. But you know what? Until recently, I thought about just forgetting that and telling the full story anyways as if it was the first time anyone was hearing about it. Because the video was deleted when Doll ethered the Bummer Patrol channel, even though I knew that the video still existed on an archive website. That is until Laka told me that the archive of the video was circulating again and how people were looking at and talking about that humiliating screenshot of me being sent porn as a 15-year-old that I didn't have a say in being posted. And the reason it was going around again is because BI0B0T was found to have come back under a different alias. And they knew that because Doll was talking to him through that alias in 2022. So let me get this straight. You couldn't be bothered to talk to the person whose child abuse images you were about to post for everyone to see even once to make sure they were okay with it or even knew, but went out of your way to play footsie with the abuser and talk to him about how he did sexually abuse minors and was in a server chock full of minors. Boy, fuck you. Okay, back to the regular video. So, anyways, as you can tell, the stuff with V happened before Fagos fed me the story, long before, and the thing with Caden happened both long and right before Fagos fed me the story. And after I was fed the assault story by Fagos, I was sexually harassed twice in Spectre's Patreon Discord server when I was 17, both, again, by adult men. One of these I've discussed publicly already on Twitter, and yes, it was Digby the Goat, who, after raiding the server and making inappropriate comments about very sensitive...
Oh, Digby, great. I'm glad I never watched this guy. He always seemed like a fucking asshole. I only recognized his little Sona and shit, but I never looked into his content at all.
Topics started arguing with me in front of Spectre and referred to it as this, and when I immediately made him aware of my age to tell him how inappropriate this kind of comment was, he said I was too old for him. He did stop after a slap on the wrist from Spectre, but was allowed to stay in the server after that point. So that was awful, and just reinforcing me that those kinds of transgressions against me as someone who was underage weren't even really that big of a deal.
We'll get into Caden Monroe later.
How terrible they made me feel. And it felt even
later
worse knowing what I knew about Fagos
I can't do
because
like
I would think this makes me feel so terrible, and I bullied someone who went through a physically violent sexual encounter. Especially because at the time, Fagos was a whole-ass self-identified man who I knew was 6'4", and I could empathize with the physical helplessness, even in a non-sexual manner, because I do know firsthand what it's like to repeatedly have someone bigger and stronger put their hands on you when you're unable to do anything about it. So it's not that...
Wait, did Digby encourage the grooming shit seen him in the screenshots? No, he sexually harassed Chuli, talking about how... What was it? Let me go back. Where is it? Okay, whatever.
You couldn't be bothered to talk to the person whose child
let's
abuse
try this
images
again.
you were about to post for everyone to see even once to make sure they were okay with it or even knew, but went out of your way to play footsie with the abuser and talk to him about how he did sexually abuse minors and was in a server chock full of minors. Boy, fuck you.
Hold on.
Okay, back to the regular video. So, anyways, as you can tell, the stuff with V happened before Fagos fed me the story, long before, and the thing with Caden happened both long and right before Fagos fed me the story. And after I was fed the assault story by Fagos, I was sexually harassed twice in Spectre's Patreon Discord server when I was 17, both, again, by adult men. One of these I've discussed publicly already on Twitter, and yes, it was Digby the Goat, who after...
Digby in here a bit and made some of us uncomfortable, but he's gone now. I thought Digby and Sparked are fun, but
raiding the server and making inappropriate comments about very sensitive topics.
All I'm saying is last night we were having fun, everyone was enjoying themselves, but now after I've left, Dulu wants to rewrite history, being like, Digby was malicious, he was making everyone uncomfortable. Oh my god, did you see him post that meme? That meme is inciting violence. That's literally not what she did, but okay. I never said you were being malicious, but go off. I'm not Jane, I'm Digby. I also never said anything about being violent. That's literally impossible. I said your behavior in this chat was rude and unacceptable, which you aren't changing. Rude? You mean epic and awesome? Okay.
In front of Spocter and referred to it as this, and when I immediately...
Okay, Digby, tell her to chill. She's the one putting moist pussy flaps in my face.
Aware of my age to tell him how inappropriate this kind of comment was. He said I was too old for him. He did stop after a slap on the wrist from Spocter, but was allowed to stay in the server after that point. So that was awful, and just reinforced to me that those kinds of transgressions against...
That was a 17-year-old, by the way.
Me as someone
talking about a 17-year-old
underage weren't even really that big of a deal, despite how terrible they made me feel. And it felt even worse knowing what I knew about Phagos victims, because I would think this makes me feel so terrible, and I bullied someone who went through a physically violent sexual encounter. Especially because at the time Phagos was a whole-ass self-identified man who I knew was 6'4", and I could empathize with the physical helplessness, even in a non-sexual manner, because I do know firsthand what it's like to repeatedly have someone bigger and stronger put their hands on you when you're unable to do anything about it. So it's not that I couldn't imagine what it must have been like to actually be the victim in the story Phagos made up. It's that I can imagine it perfectly. And it's so fucking awesome that they decided to put that in my head as a 16-year-old. So think about this the next time you want to liken someone you don't like to the Omega or any other sexual predator who was around them when they were a minor, Musha. And think about this the next time you want to make a crude visual skit and make a joke out of the sexual assault story you know was fed to a minor, just a robot. Seriously, you're all fucking pathetic. And for anyone else who wants to keep chastising me for not coming forward sooner and covering for a predator like the fucking robot, maybe, I don't know, shut the fuck up. There's a million and one reasons people have for not coming forward about something and making what's logically the wrong decision, made even worse when those fears are proven right. Like, literally look at what happened when I did do the right thing. You think anyone wants that? Seriously, think for just a second. Hopefully this video is contextualizing a lot of the reasons for me on why it took so long to come forward and why I continued to keep quiet about the aftermath. But just to set the record straight, I was victimized online as a minor for several years in a row to increasing severity, and even then I ultimately was the one to come forward after being an adult for a year, only for all of this to happen as a result. So yeah, to anyone talking shit to this day, I really hope you're jealous of my position. There is nothing fun about these incidents I've described. None of this is fun to talk about. In fact, the period of weeks where I was accepting the reality of what happened to me were probably the hardest weeks emotionally for me since I had to come forward about Phagos. Because yeah, it wasn't fun when I had to come forward about Phagos, despite what some people may believe. I spent the entire month when I was making that video sick to my stomach, because the experience of being victimized, especially in a sexual manner, is incredibly demoralizing, and there's really any joy to come from anything to do with it ever. I meant it when I said that my heart breaks.
I'm a bunch of dead air because I'm too tired to really give any more commentary. I think I've been repeating myself over and over and over because this shit is just
the people who
gross.
would have cared didn't know, and the people who did know didn't care. Minus my friends, who I asked not to say anything. All that to say, yes, Phagos' actions had a huge effect on me. And back in 2021, when I cut them off and was deciding to make the original expose, I reflected on a lot of my behavior, and I started apologizing to friends for how I acted when Phagos was in my life. Because I was different. I was shorter with people, I snapped more frequently, I read apologies and kind gestures as a means to manipulate, because that's how I had to be with Phagos, and as aforementioned, all the other adult men who violated my boundaries, especially my sexual boundaries. Granted, Phagos did not create those behaviors, but they did intensify them a lot with how close they were and how much they were around. And as I'm sure you could imagine, based off of the aftermath of everything, I still struggle with all of those things in the present day to a pretty severe extent. But in that sweet spot, I started unblocking a lot of people on social media, thinking about letting go of any old hurt or suspicion I had for a lot of people and moving on with the present, unsure of how valid my previous judgments were. Heaton was one of those people. Certain friends of Heaton that were also friends of mine sometimes talked about their issues with her and how she treated them that I didn't like. And since we hadn't talked since the Eugenia Cooney argument, which was over a year prior, I just blocked her to make sure that she didn't show up on my feed. But after cutting off Phagos...
Oh, yeah, the Eugenia Cooney shit.
I thought, maybe she's not all that bad. She's been through her own stuff, and hey, she released that junkie video documenting the hurt she went through because of him. So I shouldn't be too hard on her, and I unblocked her. And I was honestly getting ready to open up a little bit more as a person on my platform. But obviously that never ended up happening. The fact that the discourse surrounding the situation shifted entirely from Phagos' abuse, the sexual assault allegations, and later the revelation that Phagos lied to a minor about being a sexual assailant and her victims committing suicide, how the discourse shifted from that to how much of a nasty, manipulative, spiteful bitch I was for being mean to them on Twitter, really showed me where everyone's priorities were. And that was how much nobody here liked me or cared about the abuse I suffered, and just how much they didn't see me as a person. In a scenario where I was victimized as a minor by an adult that was a public figure with a ton of connections, that was the takeaway in this community to these creators. Because don't you know, the abuser has feelings. This corner of the internet completely failed me because I was a bad victim for 2 seconds on the most personally upsetting and devastating day of my time online, and it makes me so...
There's no such thing as a bad victim or a perfect victim.
Oh, fucking my God. To just watch it get bulldozed this year. I don't care if that's cool. I can't do it anymore. If you're someone who I spoke to during the time of when Heaton apologized and I have said that I forgave you, I'm sorry, but I can't keep that door open anymore. It is too painful and unfair for me to have to leave my door open to people who are a part of and associate themselves with a community of people that treated me so terribly. Especially since some of those people that told me they were on my side continue to uncritically support and be friends with Heaton without ever bothering to check in on how I am, just as it happened in 2021. That's not good enough. That's not how you show that you have someone's back. And I don't deserve to have to deal with people like that anymore. Will there be exceptions to that? Maybe. But who I decide to trust moving forward is my business. As a send-off, Heaton, I don't care if you have a platform. Originally, I was gonna have this whole spiel about why she should justify her presence still, and then I realized I don't fucking care. So long as Heaton stays in her lane for the rest of time, which it looks like...
I honestly hope they don't try to come back, because I don't think they deserve to. I don't think they're mature or mentally stable enough to have a platform in general, especially after learning about all this shit, experiencing it firsthand, and hearing about it from other people, and knowing what I know now from Lio about them. Like, come on.
The past few months, and honestly, good. Stay there. The
It's fucking stupid. I don't think there's anything else in this little testimony that I need to listen to necessarily, so I'm probably gonna end it at that. But Jesus fucking Christ, bro. God damn, bro. This is a mess. We'll get into the Caden Monroe and this, and eventually the Nuzzy Monster, the Toasty Vanilla stuff, all of that in like a later stream. This is just gonna be like part 1 of trying to understand ACC lore and shit like that, and getting caught up with some of the creators who may or may not still have a platform and their controversial history. Wow, big words. I'm tired, but yeah, good night. I'm going to bed. Well, I'm not going to bed. I'm not tired. I'm just tired from this. I can't sleep yet, but I don't want to watch any more of this.